Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Six Invitational 2023. At the Command Center again, Melis the Medic, your host. With me on the desk are Anne and Mr. Fresh. And we're here to break things down for our upcoming matchup. As you might have seen, there is another game happening as we speak, but we're going to get things launching to stay on schedule. Soniqs versus Astralis. First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing? You look fantastic, Anne.
Thank you. So do you. I like the color of your top today.
Thank you so much.
I'm really good. Yeah, I'm super excited to get some heartbreaking moments on Valentine's Day as we say goodbye to a few teams. Really fits the vibe today.
Speaking of heartbreak, we got Heartbreak Kid on the other side of the desk. Look at him.
I dressed the part. I saw this shirt, it had hearts all over it, and I thought I've got to go for it. And actually, I've got a little poem to read out.
Okay, Jack, go ahead. I'll give you this one.
Roses are red, attackers are blue, love Rainbow Six Siege, hate Desert Chew.
You know what?
Thought of it myself.
Honestly, this represents EUL in so many ways. Thank you very much for that, Jack. There it is. Our poems have set the stage for our matchup because there will also be heartbreak at the end of this game. Astralis versus Soniqs, an all-out North American bout. I just want to introduce the global set of this game. These two teams know each other so well, Anne.
Exactly. Yeah, I could mention a song that starts with "There are no strangers to love," but there are no strangers to each other for sure. As
Rick rolled it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, there are no strangers to each other for sure. They've played against each other in NAL numerous times, and it's actually Astralis that came out victorious for every single of those matchups in the last 3 years. Now, you could say that bodes very well for Astralis. They do have a new addition to the roster with Spiff coming in, the rookie. He's had a pretty good performance, I would say. He settled in very well. There is some inconsistency, but what do you really expect adding a rookie to a team? They also have J9O and Iconic, both already getting more than 100 kills this tournament. But then on the other side, Shuttle's on the roster, and he's got the lowest rating of all players on this tournament.
This is the same Rogue Shuttle in the day. We're looking many years back. You know what, Jack? We'll continue the conversation about Astralis, but I just want people to hear some of the responses that they had to Demo's questions. What were they?
I'd say overall we're a little disappointed just the way how we didn't close the games out, but we're really, we're really happy that we didn't drop. Like we never got 2-0'd. We at least we've gone to 3 maps every time. So that's really good for us. We feel like we just gotta fix small mistakes, but we feel like we were really close to 2-0ing every team we just played. Most team we like to play against is probably DZ, just because that's always a fun matchup to play against Troy. Most of the thing we gotta improve on is, I'd say, just working off each other a little bit better. I feel like that's most of what hindered us or what cost us. The example Theme against Lost One or Cafe against BDS. I feel like if we fix those things, those are maps that can turn around for us, and that ends up in a 2-0. I think the biggest team there, I think the team that have the biggest run right now is probably G2. I feel like they've shown potential to play amazingly, and play really well off each other and play a really fluid style of Siege. When it comes to changes, not really specifically. It's more about just I guess making sure we learn from the mistakes that we had in the group stage and the only thing is just make sure you don't repeat them again. As long as we don't do that, we learn from. And I feel like as long as we do that, the prep will be the same and we can beat any team. It's all hype.
And there is Astralis. We didn't see them yesterday. Of course, they had their bye day, but the team is ready and set, and maybe with an off day, they feel recharged. And
yeah, it's quite funny how if you look at this tournament, it's been super defensive favored so far, but Astralis are actually one of the worst performing teams on defense.
Yeah, I think so. Now we've got a graphic actually to support this, believe it or not, Anne. And it's the one style. If I could use one word to describe Astralis, it is chaos. It's chaotic. It's their playstyle. And just look at the things that should complement each other that don't. Entry kills and conversion should be kind of similar. 16th out of 16 teams. This is out of the teams left in this tournament. The 4 group teams are not in this graphic. So bottom, 4 entry kills. But when they get the entry kill, they are unreal at converting that entry kill. They're the best attacking team in the tournament and the second worst. And yeah, Plants and obviously Retake as well, they're a little bit inconsistent sat in the mid-table. It's absolute chaos when Astralis plays is probably the best way of describing it.
Well, maybe controlled chaos on the Sonic side is kind of the complete opposite of the gameplay, and we'll ask about them because Sonics, you know, they picked Dark Zero, right? A team that they know how to play against very well, but unfortunately, they had such a tight game that Sonics just could not get that energy through. They could not pass through the Dark Zero barrier. So how much of as a loss will that weigh on them for their elimination match, basically?
Well, if you look at it like this, right, they had a really good group stage, and at some point as a newer formed team with newer additions, you're gonna face that hurdle where you come to a round loss, or a map loss, or a match loss, and it's very important to have that, especially now getting into the lower bracket. You will need to face some losses every now and then to make sure that you know how to recollect yourself after that. It was a really close game yesterday, yes, against an opponent that they know, and now today, they're again playing against an opponent that they know as well.
There's a little bit of an expectations gap with regards to Sonics because the siege that they were playing in group stage, you would be forgiven thinking, and a lot of us were forgiven thinking, they're going to go really, really deep. But then take a step back and look at the 6-month kind of trajectory of this roster. In Berlin, this Sonics roster looks completely different, like Anne was saying. So I think for them, yeah, they're still probably a team that we expect to go far, but we need to give them a few forgivenesses in knowing that they've brought new players into this roster. They've brought an international player, and this is Six Invitational as well. They've definitely got the quality, but today will be a big test of their reaction because they could have won yesterday.
Look at this.
It was so close.
This is...
Look at this.
I love this.
They're conducting a ritual. Summon iconic. Look at I love this, actually. This is the first time I've seen this in competition.
I think I've seen them do it before, but it must work really, really well for the vibes. Those vibes, actually, on the side of Sonics, they were lacking a little bit against the Eminem game that they played earlier. Those later rounds really sound like it was more desperate comms or players really sounding defeated, something that we did actually praise Sonics for earlier in this tournament, where they worked so well with the comms, where they were so vibey with Gunnar just singing in pre-matches. And for Sonics, they're actually a really good defensive team. Maybe they had a bit of a fluke yesterday where they dropped within their retake percentage and their defensive win percentage, but once we get on those defenses for Sonics, right, we're supposed to see really good siege. A very good attacking team in Astralis facing against a really good defensive team in Sonics. I just can't wait.
I just have one request for anybody watching. Could you please take the clip of the entirety of Astralis huddled together and doing their ritual, but add to it some like Slavic folk music, or you know, like Nordic folk music, or even Voodoo Child, because I think it works very well with it too, and just overlay it and post it, because I just think it's wonderful. It's a very unique way of conducting oneself and also pulling that momentum together before you go into game. But I would like to know our maps for this series. There you go. It's you know, you gotta have some fun when you're on the stage. With a 9-map pool, we'll have to explore the depths of where these two teams can reach. And I'm really wondering what 3 maps we'll have. Expectations?
I think this map pool, this map ban actually looks pretty clear cut. Both teams have some permabans that they have not shown even throughout this tournament. Both teams have very high preference for a clear map that will be left open because of those permabans. Therefore, I would say, you know, just off the cuff before I've seen them, I would be expecting Border, maybe Oregon. And it's more going to be, for me, a little bit about the decider from these two teams when the map graphic does come up.
Yeah, we do have some permabans from both sides that don't really gel well on the other side, basically. So, for example, Astralis, they tend to ban Shelly a lot, they tend to ban Clubhouse a lot, but then you see it right here happening to ban Clubhouse, for example, but that doesn't really bode well into the map favorites of Sonics.
Yeah, not
Border,
really.
Oregon theme park.
So that's the thing, is Border and Oregon were the two that we fully expected from the picks. We expected it to be open because of those permabans. So we expected Astralis to be taking Border. They love that map. We expected Sonics to be taking Oregon. They love that map. The decider is the curious one for me. I had it pinned as a different map. And the reason being is for theme park, it's a low preference for Sonics, but it's a very high preference for Astralis, although they're not that good in recent form on it.
Yeah, in recent form, they've only managed to win 25% of their games, and that one game they won on theme park this tournament was against Cyclops. That's a team that has already been eliminated. Those 2 first maps, though, I'm really happy we got those out, because I consider them good teams for both maps, really, so the quality of siege should be really great.
Who survives? That's it. Game's ready.
Sonics.
Yeah, I think Sonics as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Jack and Anne. Our casters are ready And let's toss it then to Pengu and Parker.
Thank you so much, Milos. Thank you so much to the desk. The NA Derby is in front of us. We used to call it the French Derby.
Yeah,
Way back when the French teams would play each other, but now we have North American teams doing battle, and they're going to go to Border and Oregon. Border, one of the most played, if not the most played map. Oregon, one of the least played. It's a big difference between us. We're going to see them both. They predicted Soniqs are going to take it. There was unanimity.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, given how things have turned out for both of these two teams. Soniqs, by a lot of people, yep, high expectations. The fan vote agrees, 73-27 in favor of Soniqs. And Astralis, if you look at the whole year in review, they've done really well for themselves. Stage 1 and 2 in NAL, first place. Charlotte Major, second place, run-up against versus Dark Zero. But then in Stage 3 and Berlin, things go really poorly for them. They get 6th in Stage 3 of NAL, they get grouped in Berlin. Now here at Invite, they're looking to make up for the past, but they're finding themselves in the lower bracket. Border, first map against Soniqs. Astralis, they are banning their operators. The first one was Nomad. The second one, the defender, will be... The Frost. No Frost mats available. All windows are now going to be safe. You can jump right on in. Unless, of course, you find yourself in a goo mine instead. They'll be removed by Soniqs early on, and their defending choice operator ban will be, well, they've been sticking with Solace very frequently, but they are open to changing it up, especially now after group stage. But it will be Asami.
In terms of operator bans, we expect the Azami. Dokkaebi, Nomad, and Frost all have lower ban rates. I like the Frost ban actually quite a lot. Have we done a Frost ban yet? I don't believe
we have not cast you and I a Frost ban yet. No, I don't believe so. I'm sure it's happened though in a different matchup because Frost's pick rate, it's still looking pretty good.
No, I was curious if we had done one.
No, I don't. Not that I can recall. Also, we spoke about coaches looking dapper. You're right, Parker.
I told you doubted me.
Oh yeah, I did.
You doubted me.
Call out is fully decked out. The tie, the suit, everything.
Man looks good.
He looks amazing. He does it so well.
Yeah, you didn't believe me one bit. Unbelievable.
That is on me. I will learn from my mistakes of the past.
Good.
Site ventilation. Soniqs, of course, staying on the defensive side. Pretty much every single map, statistically, is a defender-sided map here at Invite 2023, and you and I, Parker, kind of spoke about why that might be. Well, the Solace, the Asami, the Valkyrie, the Mira, there are so many defending operators that you want to be target banning right now, and you can simply only pick one from both sides. That means that something strong will be left open. In this match, both Solace and Valkyrie will be in play and also picked by Soniqs in round number 1. That means that they will have a ton of information to work with, but also the option to deny information, particularly from Grixer on the Solace. Only found one drone so far, 9 left alive on the board, but we can already tell now that they're going for this jail wall breach with the can opener. Grixer won't have to peek it, the gadget gives that away. Of course, you won't know if any members are entering from that breach, but if there's no drone, you can somewhat safely assume that nobody's going to be looking to go in because you're not going to go in blindly against Soniqs.
All right, let's look at these maps. Before we get into the action, we'll take a look at what the map shakeup is. Because you're probably wondering, if you haven't watched Border yet, what's going on here? Well, it actually was just leapfrogged over by Clubhouse.
Oh, okay.
It is now the second most played map. They've been going back and forth. Cafe nipping at its heels. Border is, as far as I can tell, other than Bank, is the closest map that we have. Well, it's tied with Villa, but Villa has far fewer play rates. To the most even map between these teams. 53% of the rounds for Border have been won by the defenders, 47% by the attackers. The most defender-sided bomb site is Archives Armory up top. It has been played quite a lot. 84 of the 215 rounds. That's not where the Soniqs will start, though. They go down below to Ventilation Workshop. It's got a 50-50 win rate, and it's the second most played bomb site.
Flip the coin and look at the outcome. Soniqs falling back early from that top floor hole. They recognize the member is isolated inside a stock, but the Buck of Forest has that soft destruction.
Oh, first contest is Rex and trading out half his HP to kill Forest. Need a good performance here from Forest. Shuttle as well, I believe, was the one involved in that altercation, takes out Citizen, but Shuttle was at one point the worst rated player individually at the Six Invitational for a team like Astralis that made it to the Charlotte Major Finals and looked so good. You cannot have a performance like that from Shuttle.
No, you can't. Soft breach goes south. Speaking of that, C4 as well. Gunner finds Shuttle, say his name, he falls to the grave. Soniqs are playing off of the bomb site. It's read well by Astralis with this self-destruction, keeping them away from the bomb site itself. They can now start planning down that diffuser.
Obviously, it's pretty bad to lose Citizen, but Astralis will fall by the wayside. J90 finishing off Geo, at least getting the down, but not out. That leaves Rexin in a 1v2. Suddenly, Astralis with the advantage. They finish off what little was left of Geo. And J90 will get the diffuser down successfully. One round in and you're already getting objective play. That's a pretty good start. Rexin doesn't see Iconic, and the King himself lands the final shot. Astralis on their own map take the first round.
I want to put the global instead, bro, because like they're kind of sitting around. I might bring Jack instead for the win. They're sitting like in weird spots right now. Yeah. If I lurk, it might be. Yeah, I might bring Jack.
And then you can orient your shit like more side too, Brox. Or you can rip the floors too if they're bringing the castle.
Yeah, I almost caught that guy.
Oh, no, you should rip the IQ floors too, Brox, so you can like look for camps for us and we can keep the util. And then you can fucking just like, you can see the Solus too with that.
There it is. So many decisions to be made on the attacking side because of how the operator band turned out. The Solus, the Valkyrie, deployable shield, soft destruction, verticality, a hard breach, wall deny. So many things on your checklist as an attacking team, but Astralis not just win the first round, but are very quick to the punch of realizing that these might be problems in the future. Let's get ahead of them right now. The IQ from Forest, it is going to mean less utility and pretty much just a walking gun that can find electric gadgets, but it's such an important step because of the Valkyrie, of the Solus. So Astralis are recognizing a win condition for Soniqs. It was Citizen last round on Valkyrie. It'll be him on Solus this time instead. Citizen caught on the bomb site. Verticality above him was not recognized, it wasn't seen. Shuttle got that kill easily. Twitch being brought up by J90. Can also, of course, deny these default cameras. Twitch drone. And Twitch herself got a buff recently, did lose the grip, so a little bit more recall on the gun of the F2, but one more regular drone in pocket. And it's also why you see more and more Twitch players at the Six Invitationals rocking that DMR instead, because the recall can be difficult at times on the FAMAS.
Absolutely. The 417, as you can see, can be played by both the Lion and the Twitch, so versatility there. And teams will use the sound of a gun to give them information as to what operator is on the board. Of course, if you're using the V308, Lion is the only operator with access to the gun. It is a very distinct sounding weapon. You don't reveal what operators you pick anymore, so if they hear that gun, they go, oh, there's a Lion.
That's true. If you play the glass, don't shoot default cams with the sniper. Go over a secondary pistol instead, perhaps.
Or if somebody else do it.
Or let someone else do it. If you
same with Blackbeard, another very distinct gun.
Opening kill from Soniqs. Again.
Oh, and they'll add to it. Geo looking for more than that. They're not content with just the 3 kills so far. Wow, this is quite the box out. Soniqs have utterly shut the door on Astralis getting into the building. Only Citizens taking some damage.
That extended security hold paying off. Now Astralis, they're just they're fishing, looking for an easy opportunity, but it might not present itself. All members of Soniqs up above, either near... Well, there is one below Gunner, but he can get back up with the Oryx gadget. Gets the kill, goes up, and just play that man advantage down. Wait for the clock, 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Shuttle to try to stave off a flawless round from Soniqs. Sidearm out as he doesn't feel confident. The Type 89 and doesn't want to go for the reload either. He can't stop it. P90 too strong. Soniqs flawlessly done on that second round.
I guess walked in like, hey, this guy's in sight, what the fuck?
I don't know if that was a guy or if that was a cabinet. I was like, what the fuck? Who was it? I think.
We're going bathroom first.
I killed Ash.
Okay.
Very close round number 1, followed by a flawless round.
These kills are always gonna run at you. So
Number 2.
Don't try to rotate as much. It's every man for himself.
I'm gonna play Echo. Okay.
Ooh, Citizen on Echo will be
okay. That is not very common from the old Ben days. Geo put it's every man for himself. I'm not sure if he's referring to the opponent team or that of Soniqs, but yeah, in that round in particular, it literally was every man just fighting for their own life, and the Soniqs came out on top flawlessly. Of course, Citizen joining the Soniqs roster was not a questionable roster change by any means, but it's like Soniqs already had a very good roster, getting good results, and finally finding that international success, making, you know, past group stage, etc. But Citizen, having been on G2 for what, 2 years or so, give or take, it looked like he was pretty much gonna be in that roster at least until after Invitationals that we're playing at right now. But a sudden change after stage 3, going from Europe to North America, having the debut tournament at the Six Invitationals for Soniqs, big surprise. But a welcomed one at that, I would say. The Soniqs doing group stage had a very good run, only suffering a loss to M&M, who were undefeated during groups. Of course, this is lower bracket. Soniqs had a run-in with Dark Zero yesterday. It was a very close series. But ultimately, Soniqs fell 1-2 in map score and find themselves now here against Astralis.
Nook going in, trying to take advantage of this early round, and will run into the echo of Ben, but Citizen gets kill number 1. Scampers back to the bomb site. The Nook of Forest, not finding anything. Forest 0-3 so far, and he's been the player from Astralis involved in all of these early altercations. Soniqs perfect when it comes to these opening duels as well through 3 rounds.
Why play Yokas on site when you just roam and get a kill instead? Ben just applying that pressure. I call him Ben, by the way, because it's totally attacked like that. Armory entry, successful.
Spiff, the spaceman himself, finds 2 for his trouble upstairs.
Is that a wallbang?
And another as well, as the Tracers give away the position of Rexen. Astralis' newest members only had a little bit of time to adjust to this roster, playing in SCS, so at least he's had some actual game day reps.
That's a good point. Of course, nothing quite like the Invitationals, the highest level of play of the year. Geo reads the situation perfectly, knows the whereabouts of Thatcher.
But he just can't do enough damage to shuttle. Geo probably shouldn't have walked away with that one, but if there's anybody who's got the experience and knowledge to make a play like that, it's going to be Geo. Citizen punished by J90. It's Geo with that tiny bit of HP left. The roaming echo, obviously not paying off. And then Soniqs picked apart as they were trying to dance back to the bomb site. Spiff with 3 kills, and now the diffuser down as well. Oh my, he knows. Is he gonna get the pop-up? No, Iconic will drop. And it's Spiff with the 4K and the diffuser planted. Incredible round from Spiff, incredible round from Astralis.
Explosive armor really pays off.
Holding for these lurks off the rip, slow it down, bro, and then just fucking like lurk when we're doing our clear across the top. They're not gonna be able to focus on everything at once here.
I like that from Iconic. Split map presence. See the entry, gets denied, but then Spiff gets 1, gets 2, and gets all 3. That's top floor in full control of Astralis, with the exception of Geo, who's last man alive on East Stairs. Way off in the distance.
Spiff, boy oh boy. Enters through Armory, takes down 1, and then another, and then a third, 2 through wall bangs, playing off of his own abilities. For an 18-year-old who just came into his top level of play and making his international and pro play debut at the Six Invitational. There's no higher stakes than this. Very easy for a newer player to wilt under that pressure. We've seen a bunch of rookies that have made their debut here do exceptionally well. One will be in action later today that pops to mind immediately, and that's Gavin on DZ.
Right. Tiger repicks all across the board from Astralis. They don't change around too much as who gets to play these particular operators. Forest on Sophia, he's not really had success so far, mostly playing the IQ, then the Nook in the previous round. Now gets to play soft breach flex duty instead. Soniqs was iconic, Soniqs iconic from Astralis rather, made the note that try and hit them while the execute is happening. They can focus across the entirety of the map. Instead of that early aggression, spread out towards that mid-stage of the round when things are more of a guesswork for the defenders. A wise note to make, I think, because it's very accurate. When you first walk in the building, well, Soniqs, they are right there ready to fight you. Later on, they fall back towards the bomb site. That's when the map will be more open to the attackers. That's when you can strike with a lower chance of dying.
All 4 of those kills for Spiff coming in the previous round. Now he's by that armory door, same position as he was before. Rexen is droned out. Rexen about to lose the safety of those reinforcements just to his right. Ace Selmas go off. Now Rexon under fire. Luckily, he has a hatch to drop through and get back in. Gunner engaging on the Shuttle. Losing out on that battle, but Shuttle traded off by Citizen. The Aruni inside a Fountain, and Astralis, they're finding their marks. Forrest hops in, gets a pick on Rexon. What little was left gets out of there very quickly.
You see, that's Forrest acting in the middle of the chaos, jumping in through side window and then getting straight back out. That's the small change that Iconic mentioned, and it pays off immediately after. Forrest listening to his teammates' ideas. Geo on side, Pripsy 4 on the floor. Grixer. He's nearby in open area customs. Not too far off, but the bomb site, it's all been destroyed. That floor, so many lines of sight towards the bomb site, nowhere is really safe. Astralis, they could just set up a plant momentarily, but they got so much time to work with, they don't need to rush to the motion.
There's the Nitro Cell that goes off. Spiff losing a ton of HP in the process. Final minute. SQ working from behind. A desperate attempt from Geo finds absolutely nothing. Still just watching himself bleed away, but there's a pick for Geo. Cannot get to safety as Grixer comes to the rescue. He's got 2 picks and a third as they try to dive on him, but nobody can slow down Pablo.
That's the thing about Soniqs. They have so much clutch potential. We said the same thing for Astralis all of last year in the NAL.
Dude, I don't know what these guys are doing.
But Grixer, Rexon, always showing up when a clutch presents itself. Demoralizing round loss. Geo fighting verticality left, right, and center. Gets a kill somehow and almost gets out. Soniqs playing close enough to one another to trade those deaths. Get it back to a 1v1. Now, I had a talk with Demo a few nights ago, and we're talking about map philosophies and how you can break things down and kind of how we see the maps as casters and talent members. And Border is the map where attackers can rush for pretty much every single execute because you always have immediate access to every single bomb site. Armory, the archive store and window, the armory wall itself, tell us that we just saw that window outside, ventilation, the main door walk-in as well. You can always go absolutely crazy with a blitz, with a ying, with a lion, etc. And Astralis almost showed it to us. They were hovering the blitz and the sense, might want to get really quick on the round. They changed it up. The Finka being brought out to assist the gunfights. Astralis, one of the few teams that are still commonly bringing out this operator Finka.
Oh. Choice as to whether you want to bring the Spear or the LMG for the Finka, Nick. Spear in the hands of Iconic, no LMG is there. LMG's nerfed across the board, that's why you see their prevalence so low. Gridlock's LMG, Capitão's LMG, not really viable all that much. Zofia's pick rate is in the basement right now, and she's lost the LMG as well. They're using the regular assault rifle. Ooh.
Yeah.
Shuttle actually tried to stop those Selma charges from going off. I think he only got the 1 though.
Another save round from Astralis early on. Just wanted to hold on to that even ground, not lose the opening kill. Spiff being patient as ever. Citizen with a good read, can prone check it back. Doesn't risk the gunfight. Has to see if he wants to use it. Nade below. What?
How does Citizen walk away from that? And he'll continue to run away. Geo with a kill too. Spiff, first one on the board for Astralis. Soniqs have either gotten the first blood in every single round or at least traded. Doesn't matter for the overall score sheet because Astralis has still converted 2 of those rounds despite being at a disadvantage. They found another pick while we were speaking, and now it's a 3v3. Perfect time to slow things down, but Spiff has other ideas. Leading 7th kill as Geo is no more. Most kills in the lobby at the moment. An extraordinary debut we've seen from Spiff over the last couple days and doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
Spiff always in the right place, right time, playing off his teammates' deaths essentially. Shuttle jumped in the window, Spiff is there on the door, trades a kill, not on the Citizen. He actually got out of security back on the bomb side, but he has 1 HP left. These 2 C4s in pocket can do some damage, but no, it got shut down immediately.
Wow. There's the diffuser to be planted. Can Grixer pull off the same magic that he did on the previous round? Yes, he can, but he doesn't have the opportunity to do more than 2. Stops the plan in its tracks, but there's just too many players from Astralis still up. An impressive way to scale that mountain, but
We're getting the gaps right now. Let's keep.
He thought he was up, but it was a false summit.
I'm gonna play peeled back. I'm gonna work this time around the horizontal. I'm gonna let Citizen leave, then take off.
Keep playing those gaps. We see a Geo getting caught from that deep angle all the way from 90 through Fountain. Did not expect the angle to be there. Astralis. Beautiful recovery from what could have been a thrown 1 versus 3. Became a clutch 1v1 instead. Taylor's bomb site, second attempt for Soniqs. Didn't go too well last time. Astralis playing on the objective. They want early kill advantage, hold on to it, try and get that diffuser planted. They planted 2 of their 3-round victories, and they were about to plant that 3rd round that we just witnessed. Could easily be a 3-3 half. Mirror upstairs, it's the first time we'll see this operator being played. The mirror windows. One going single wall, facing that triple office breach. Of course, all the soft feed holes put in all of the wall. Second mirror in pocket so far. Could put it practically anywhere, upstairs, downstairs. Let's see where Rexin chooses. This particular wall facing Archives would be the good old stable classic one. But you would kind of need a shield to protect it because it can be seen from that office breach. But of course, the second mirror window covers that area. So they're kind of helping one another. Astralis, they don't really have the best tools to deal with these mirror windows. They have no heart breach, no ace, no Hibana. The Twitch drones, really the only way to deal with it, or smoking it from Twitch as well. Taking upstairs control is going to be very difficult for Astralis, and this is going to just brute force the way through kills. Heavy presence upstairs from Soniqs. They know they can hold the bomb site vertically for the most part. The side window, not gonna get rushed. Twitch drone in this, we call this Gandalf in G2 when I played there.
Why?
It looks like a wizard tower.
Huh?
Gandalf.
Oh.
Yeah. C4 though. Oh, it finds Spiff, the top gunner. Nice Twitch drone.
Excellent use of the Twitch drone. And Astralis have lost 2 players. Soniqs will go through an entire half, never once surrendering first blood, or at minimum, never once giving their opponents any prolonged advantage, because there was that trade all the way back in round number 4. Soniqs being unable to convert these rounds is obviously not a very promising sign, but I will remind you that this is Astralis' map. You expect them to beat Soniqs across the board. Given the stats on board, though, 53 rounds for the defense. So, Citizen, he holds court, and it could be another flawless round for Soniqs to close things out. J90 missing. Still outside of the building. He's got all the time in the world, Nick.
Citizen spinning on these stairs.
Twirling towards freedom, I believe. No flawless to be had. J90 vaults in. 2 picks.
Headshot.
That's that power of the F or the 417. No frost, so you don't need to look down when you vault in. That is a major benefit. J90 will not need to pick his poison, but Gunner, almost a DMR of his own, that TCSG. They'll take round number 6. Soniqs have not trailed once in this match, or have not won once in this match and been ahead. They've always trailed or been tied with Astralis. First half in the books.
Citizen did a 360 right before he swung, before he died.
You gotta go for the style points.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the 1v5, you might as well.
Diffuser planted twice. Rounds 1 and 3, first bloods overwhelmingly in favor of Soniqs. Ventilation, Armory, and Tellers have been the 3 bomb sites that these squads, or rather Soniqs, have rotated through, and these squads have played on.
Upstairs start, Forest on the dock, looking to get into these gunfights most likely. Dock on border, tremendous value. There's so much chip damage, wall bang damage, etc. Long lines of sight with those dock stim pages that can just reach your teammates from across the entire map almost. Nades below often get you injured. We spoke about fast rounds. I'm seeing Monty, I'm seeing Ying, and I'm seeing a Glass. This is going to be one of those archive/sandwich window executes most likely from Soniqs. And again, border, the perfect map because you have instant access to the bomb side. Soniqs, they are no strangers to this strat. They've done it before in the NAL domestically, and they're looking to do it again on international grounds against Astralis. They might be familiar with this lineup. They might know what's to come.
These two teams know each other quite well. They've played a number of times in the North American League. When you see regional mates going head-to-head, there usually needs to be some new spice brought. Every single team that comes to this event will bring something solely for Six Invitational. You know how important this is, you know how crucial this World Championship is, and players, when you talk to them, they dream of winning this event.
Oh, they know.
They absolutely know this is coming. Geo will be stopped for a moment. He might be able to crouch under this. Shuttle down, that's the Glass firing away through the wall. Look at Rexen all the way back. A slow start for Rexen, 1-5.
Just bait out the Toxic Babes now is your Soniqs. Once they run out, that's when you can stop planting.
And the Dock of Forest will get Shuttle all the way back to full HP. Toxic Canister goes. Diffuser looked like it was going to get planted, but Soniqs back away in the midst of the smoke. They'll break through. And just like that, Gunner takes two of them down. Cannot get any more. Over towards Fountain. Spiff watches Office. And Geo will sit on top of that Diffuser with his shield fully extended. Forrest is outside the building trying to get some attention. They know there's only two left. The Glass not giving an inch. Need to be very careful with this. Rexen doesn't miss. Not at all. He sees the Dock. J90 putting in good work. Oh my, Rexen's been downed. It's Grixer now in a 1v2. Rexen, is he recoverable? All you need to do is waste another 8 seconds. J90 manages to make the cross, and now he'll go onto the diffuser.
It's on the window.
Forrest is watching the window, and he's able to walk in and get the kill past the point of no return. They get the picks, but Forrest doesn't have the time. Sonic successful on their first attack.
I can't believe it. He's outside the building from main door, climbs up there towards the yellow bus, and holds the window rotation.
That fucking gimp.
That is way too close for comfort.
The fact I got two right there is actually insane.
Gunner with this saving play here, pushing through two Toxic Babes and a barbed wire through his own smoke, finds 2 kills before being traded back. Of course, Rexen on the Glass played it almost perfectly. Did get injured in the end there by getting sidelined by Forrest on the Dock outside the building and spawn.
I cannot believe he died to that. It's actually stunning.
No, it is. I've never seen that before, especially not work out.
No, he was there.
Bit of a surprising factor for sure.
You don't say.
Rexen said, I'm not sure what that reference is to or for, but yeah. Missed the other text message, I believe.
I don't always read what's going on in the chat.
I do sometimes. If it's funny. It's not always funny.
Not always funny.
Now, there was a consideration to opt to the same lineup, the Glass and the Ying. Just the Ying this time, but Citizen's turn. So we often see teams, for example, BDS, they have Leaky Fag and a Lemge, and if they're rushing, it's going to be Leaky Fag playing the Ying. If they're going for a late run execute, it's going to be a Lemge. I'm curious if whether Gunner or Citizen plays that same operator, if it has any impact on what the objective is with the round. Gunner went for the rush. We could see Ying on Citizen or other way around. Go for a more organized style of a round. Taking the steps 1, 2, 3 first before hitting that bomb site. Very spread out members of Soniqs, looking to get that phantom pressure everywhere on the map all at once. It's risky because you're isolated, but it can pay off very quickly. 3 members on the side window. They might try and go for a rush instead. Not yet though. They're holding on. Might try and force or tries to rotate off the side by applying that pressure early in the round and come back to the bomb site. So go your canister below the window. It can get popped. It's gonna stall 20 seconds at minimum. Soniqs, they did have the plan to go straight forward, but the plan's been read once again by Astralis. Well adapted, well adjusted. An injure goes through, but I don't think the confirm will come along.
Oh, so long, Forrest.
Good cover.
Feast and famine is the style of play that Forrest has been. He and Shuttle desperately need to have a good series against Soniqs. Shuttle so far 2 and 7 on support roles quite often. A little caveat.
4 and 7.
No, Shuttle is 2 and 7.
Sorry, I was looking at Forest. Sorry.
You know why? It's because you saw the forest for the trees. Ooh! Nice peek by Iconic. Goodbye, Gunner. Citizen has his teammates back, but not before. They've already made SQ bleed. Soniqs have the numbers advantage right now.
Can they hold on? These Thunderbird stations are healing up the side of Astralis. Spiff half HP. What?
What?
Rexen?
I don't know if that was intentional or not.
He was in.
Hopped in, and then he was out. Grixer goes as well. Soniqs with just 2 remaining.
It's gonna be a tough round for now. Diffuser upstairs. No bumps at control. Gotta go for kills. They're looking for it. Tugan doesn't pocket of Citizen. He might read the situation perfectly. There is one member inside of office.
Oh, as free as the day is long.
Activating Selma sequence.
What next, though? Get Diffuser up. Geo has 2 Selma charges. Hatch should be opened up already by the defending team. Both, well, actually, Shuttle alone on bomb side. Spiff going for a flank up main stairs.
Pitter patter.
Now they know.
Gee, there goes a smoke. Shuttle peeks the hatch, and now it's a run from Spiff. He'll take from above. I don't think Citizen is expecting this. Spiff has full control. Geo gets the diffuser down, but Spiff has no intel. The Candela rolls out. Geo will vacate the premises, and that's just experience, baby. 5-3 for Soniqs.
One of you guys
I'll tell you to shut the fuck up next time. I already told I had the cam.
Yeah, it's fine. Just let one person come.
I said to rush side, but we were just inside.
What is going on in that other match?
Outside of that, the rest of you guys, we got to go exposing outside. Like, take advantage of that, whichever you think you're expecting that shit much right now. Try to your player hard zones, let's stack the site, make sure they can't take us. Kind of go into that game plan that we got the other teams outside of border, right? So we kind of got Jason and bring the warrant, they're bringing the fucking glass in all the time right now. So bring the warrant as well. So outside of that, fucking something, all you guys are in control. So it goes on. If you can't penetrate, then outside of that, like I said, just play the hard zones. Soniqs comes deep on them, fake the cheat.
Alright, let's go armory here. I'm gonna need a mirror, ward, and Goyo. Let's put 2 flames for the fucking archives plant. Ward and play armory with the mirror here. And then let's put a fucking radio mirror right now, alright? Yeah.
Try the C4 ski.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring Valks around the map right now.
I'm bringing the C4 just because
Exceptionally hard to hear what was being said, by the way.
I gathered some of it.
Yeah. I think it's smart. It'll eventually like force them to take Goyo over something.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Oh yeah, my bad. Fucking
I think they're armoring.
I can confirm it right now.
Alright, so
no
Astralis. These are the reasons why just one single round of a rush is so effective. Astralis' entire focus has shifted from playing close together for gunfights into completely countering the Glass Ying executes. They're talking the Goyo, they're talking the Warden, and they're talking the Mirror. 3 out of 5 operators entirely brought just to counter the possibility of a rush again. And Soniqs, they're gonna go straight away from the Ying onto this more lurk-based operator of the Nuke. They're gonna change their playstyle entirely. So the adaptation to the adaptation should favor Soniqs. Besides that, I didn't catch much of what Call-Out was saying, the coach of Astralis, but it's generally just playing together, counter the possibility of glass, always bring out the Warden, and play vertically. Play on 2 floors instead. Security extension hold. You can't just play on the bomb side, of course, you have to extend out, otherwise attackers get way too much control, way too easily, as well as way too quickly. The Selma, try again. It's above the reinforced wall, it will not go off. Good news is he got 2 more pockets. Oh, Citizen.
He's gonna get this! At least it looked like it!
It's awkward.
The only thing he gets is away with his life. The adrenal surge really helping him out there. If it wasn't for that adrenal surge, Ben would be completely dead.
Yeah, that's a good point. Completely saves him. Oh, she looked like a very easy kill, just recall sometimes to a wall.
To be fair, the way that Shuttle was walking was a little odd. I mean...
NPC walking, you mean?
It was a little, yeah.
Just waiting for these adrenal surges to get Ben back on HP so that he's in a fighting state. That's right now, taking a fight is very disadvantageous for him. That's a freebie. Goner taking down Iconic. The mirror would have been popped already. Spiff's location and position. Very vulnerable. Great shot.
Still firing away. Forrest goes for the run out. Attempt number 2 from Citizen, but Spiff reads into this. Spiff has been phenomenal so far in this series through a single map. Can he keep it up? And might I remind you that this is Astralis' map pick again? Soniqs have won on both halves. Since the side swap, Astralis unable to get anything going on defensive border. Haven't gotten the first pick either. Astralis still searching for a successful first blood. Spiv expects to jump in, he's very correct, but Shuttle is there to take care of the remainder of Rexon. The Selma's opened up the wall, leading from Office. What can SQ do with this? 2v2.
Such a good read by both teams, honestly, and it's why it's a 2v2 right now. But now the guessing game begins. Flashbang's coming out.
Grixer reads into it, softens up Shuttle, but he knows that the Warden's gonna swing up top stairs. Shuttle and J90 combining for the final 2 kills. That would have been map point for Soniqs. A do or die round for Astralis. And they do.
Side right now. We're going to do a hard and horizontal. It's going to castle out to bolster the east side up here.
You want to bring Kate for hatches then?
Yeah, we can bring Kate too. And then
Can we get like a skip for the walk now?
Should I hit the pulse?
One of the reasons why I think it's so enjoyable to watch these two teams duke it out is because they both have very similar strengths when it comes to team play. Playing close together, playing that trade game successfully.
Can we get passport too?
It's so...
Yeah, who can get the passport walls? I can get them. Do I need to get 2 or 1?
I have a glitch right now.
Just 1?
There we go. I'll just taking up all that information that I could right there from watching it. Sorry. Just how well these two teams can play the trade game. It's so freaking that we see teams go in and kind of blunder these 2v1s and 2v2s, and it's just like a very one-sided trade. But we're finding ourselves in these 2v2s and 1v1s and 1v2s because both Astralis and Soniqs are so effective at trading it out. Gonna have a quick rehost. Get an update for you as to why, if that information becomes available to us. Right now we do not know, but a quick one. Just boot back up the server, slap in the settings, the operator bands, etc. We're right on the way in just a moment. Nothing too crazy happened. It was setup phase in the prep. Astralis setting up their reinforcements. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. Very impressed with the Soniqs so far.
I'm really sorry.
For Astralis to win out in regulation, they need to go perfect for the remainder of this map. Entirely possible. First half was a 3-3 though.
Can I get another water too? Thank you.
Stay hydrated, friends.
Hydro homies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It's an issue with one of the players not being successful in-game at using their gadgets or deploying reinforcements.
What do we have earlier? Somebody in the heroic game just couldn't shoot, and then they just said, just press mouse 1. It's very simple, really. Well, sometimes it just isn't.
I think they can see the chat, even though it's in the team.
No, I don't think they can.
Do they have a cap in the room?
We can see the chat.
We can.
We can.
You and I.
Well, I assume they can as well. No, they can't because it only shows up on the observer monitor, which we have access to. There are 3 monitors currently in front of us and a very large television as well.
Is it technically a very large television? Would you specify it as a very
I guess if I went to somebody's home, that would be a very average-sized television.
Okay, yes, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking an average-sized television, which is a big screen, of course, but it's not a very large television screen.
It's a television screen. Either way, the monitor in front of me displays the first observer, the game, what you're going to see on your screen without any graphics, anything like that. The middle monitor between Nick and I is a persistent top-down monitor that will show the bomb site and give us a good idea of where everybody is. It's not first person, it's a second spectator that is just top down. And then on the right side, it's the program. It's what you see on your screen right now. Call it fist bumping people, that's on our right monitor.
Yep, and then the big TV is a mirror, so the same thing as the very far right monitor as well.
Yes, it's the program as well.
It's also the program. Now, if you're curious, as the caller, that is my job, to break things down. I spend about as much time looking at the top-down view in the middle monitor as I do in the first-person point of view in the other monitors. Whereas Parker, I mean, he looks top-down as well, but not quite as frequent.
I'll glance.
He'll glance here and there.
I'll glance over.
Something's happening. we're working through the issue right now. We might have another quick one. The issue is that I believe teams cannot pick their operators or something like that. Cannot interact with the game itself. So we'll just go again. Of course, a tight series, in case you've got the scoreline. It is, I got it as 5-4. Please tell me that's correct.
Yep.
Okay. 5-4 in favor of Soniqs, that is. That last time that we just saw was an Armory attack attempt. Came down to a 2 versus 2. But Astralis, they played so well together that they won out that 2v2 into 2 versus 0. Successfully defended Armory. It's their first defending round victory since this side swap 3 rounds ago. I'll say I'm very impressed with Citizen from Soniqs, playing both the Ying, the Nuke, and the more default operators, whatever that can be. Played Echo on defense as well. Citizen, kind of like Shaiko, they're always compared to one another because they're always fighting for number 1, number 2 in EUL about most kills and best rating. They often play like Jaeger or Iana, you know, purely frag-oriented operators. But Citizens, since joining Soniqs, has really started flexing out that operator pool, playing different operators. And Soniqs, ever since acquiring Geo in place of Super, has just added more and more depth to their roster in both the clutching, the early, mid, and late round. And I would dare say this is the best Soniqs roster so far.
Just to prove your point, Citizen has the highest KOST cost. That stands for kills, objectives, survival, and trades. Yes. The focus being that you are assigned a score based on how many kills you get, how well you play on the objective, that's getting diffusers planted or disabling diffusers or stopping diffusers from being planted. Survival, meaning you live through the round.
Survive.
Trades, meaning how quickly you are able to get a kill to avenge a teammate. Having the highest rated KOST at this event for a player who is just learning the system is phenomenal.
I think even trading is actually also how fast somebody will kill the person that killed you after you die. I think it's both ways, if I'm not mistaken. But more importantly, cost, the way that I simplify it is consistency. It's how well you are consistently playing across all the variety of Siege into a single statistic. That might be easier to understand when it boils down to. And that's also a good way to break down player value, because often you'll find support players having a high cost, KOST, but having a low KD minus or a low entry stat, for example. So it's not uncommon to see support players and flex players actually leading the cost ratings in that top 5 area.
Rexon might be the highest rated player on the team, currently sitting in 5th place overall, but just outside of the top 10 is Citizen. And I suspect Citizen's rating is only going to improve because ahead of him are 2 players from FaZe who are no longer with us. So, given that, there's room for improvement. Citizen entered today 103 kills to 82 deaths. Rexon 120 kills to 87 deaths. And then all the way down at the identical KD is Grixer, but with a much lower rating than Citizen. Maybe not much, but enough lower for him to be farther down the standings.
Early fire pop, that is one, make that... Nope, missed. They clipped the edge. Don't make that two. Of course, the Goyo Fire covering most of that ventilation bomb site, so getting rid of those canisters early ensures that when Soniqs will hit the bomb site later on, they don't have to worry about this Goyo canisters. This is foresight, right? Planning ahead of time. We can tell the end objective is the plant site at the B bomb site, ventilation bomb site, because of those with terror drones cleaning out that area. While that's happening, Soniqs, they're making progress elsewhere on the map. It's on the east there side. Office window. They're starting to clear out the top floor from the east over to the west.
Just to talk about ratings, specifically mention Shuttle, who's having a very rough game. It's not getting any better. He did enter today as the lowest rated player at the event.
Okay. Is that of all players that are still present or just...
Every single player, period.
Okay.
So Shuttle is dead last at a .71. Pika at .78. Obviously on Direwolves, who went home. Black Ray, .78 as well. On CAG, who went home. Harambe at .79 on Direwolves, who also went home. But Spirits and Slevin are both at .79. Spirits and Shuttle are both very low rated, and they're here. Everybody else basically on this same level with the exception of Fultz. has been eliminated. You have to go all the way up to a LEMS at a .88, which is way up the standings to find the next player who's still here. So for Space Station, Foltz had a significantly better day. That'll help his rating. Shuttle, haven't really seen it just yet. And there you go. First to die as the Kaid wandering downstairs out in the open, unsupported, no intel. Shuttle is gone. Spiff continuing his impressive performance on the other side of the Shuttle coin. Gets kill number 1 for Astralis. It's on to Grixer. That was the 0 that answered and got that very first pick.
Yep, and those Goya cannons, remember, they're clear from that B bomb site, so B window jump in is possible. Members of Astralis are far off the bomb site, and Rexon, he's got this angle covered. Duke can stop planting.
And there it goes, diffuser going down. How is the coverage from Soniqs? Geo at the halfway point. Goodbye, Gunner. Forrest doing great work, but there's Citizen from above. They don't seem to know this. Geo is down, Citizen falls, Rexon to clutch out. Astralis picking it up in the post plant, and well, Rexon doesn't know that J90 is looking through a window. Spiff hops on that diffuser just to add to an already superb game for him. We've got close matches all day yesterday. We got close matches all day today. We're going to round 12.
All right, listen, let's go. Calm down. Let's go BT here. We're going to do a hard zone on the top 4 right now. We're going to have to set up the side E. Let's bring a Capcan horizontally, spread it for the side E. Bring a Goyo, and then let's bring a truck. Take Warden inside. Take Warden inside. I'll take Goyo.
You want the castle?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my melody setup.
Yeah,
or do you want to give East? Or?
No, we gotta play for East right now.
Okay, so I won't do that castle then.
Very surprised to hear just how much influence Iconic has as an individual on the very specifics of the round. What operators to bring, what area that we're gonna be fighting for, and who's gonna bring them. I did not see that coming. I always took Astralis as a team who had very set strats on paper when how Konak came into the squad and kind of changed things around from the back in stage 1 early last year. Iconic really rallying the troops together though, saying play the castle, play for East stairs, hold that ground. And if you recall, Soniqs, that's their step number 1. Whatever they can, they just take East stairs and they work from East over towards Armory. They just did it in the previous round. And now adaptation, Astralis, they will hold that ground as the starting point for their defense, and Soniqs will have to challenge that directly head on or change their entire approach to the round and where they will begin their roam clear. The Goyo canisters even being prepped and ready to waste time in the early stages of the round to burn down that clock. It's been favoring them so far. Soniqs got the bomb down the previous round, but the post plant above was shot down by 2 members flanking on the main stairs. Once you lose vertical control as an attacker, it's very hard to hold on to that diffuser.
I'd like to note that Astralis is 5-5 without ever winning an opening duel.
That is impressive.
That is a hell of a stat.
It makes you wonder how well would that go if they had gotten most of the opening kills.
I think you're a little bit more charitable with your trades, just looking at the way that you mark it down. I've only listed that there were 2 proper trades. You have 4 written down. Either way, I think we both agree based on your sheet and my sheet.
Yeah.
No time has Astralis gotten an uncontested opening pick. Conversion rate for Soniqs, quite poor. What do you think the main issue with that is?
Honestly, I think it's how tight both teams are playing together. Neither team allowing these opening kills to go uncontested, right? There's not just one member fighting one member. There are 2 members fighting 3 members. You're bound to be trading back and forth. On Iconic, he's isolated. He's gonna trade his teammate back possibly.
Oh, and there it is, the first uncontested kill for Astralis. I might have just spoke this into existence. Iconic looks for more. No, Citizen finishing him off. The advantage for Astralis was definitely there, and it allowed Iconic to take that chance. Obviously doesn't work out.
But even that is so close to a contested opening kill, right? A small advantage is being gained, yes, but you can argue both sides. It's a back and forth. Spiff on such low HP, trying to play off him his Forest, hiding that passport corner. But Soniqs, they keep on finding these kills time and time again. The gaps, they are there for Astralis.
There's the pause now. SQ still have the advantage, so Forrest will take a chance. Over by passport, door doesn't get away. Grixer's watching him from top stairs. Shuttle in the bomb site, but he's exposed from a similar spot. He's got a castle barricade blocking one line of sight, small rotate next to it. Grixer posted up watching that exact angle. Proximity alarm ringing throughout the entire map. Spiff 3 kills, 0 deaths so far since coming back to this. And he'll unload his mag, losing out to Grixer. Shuttle in a 1v4. Diffuser going down in the hands of Grixer. Geo dead, so somebody has to do it. Shuttle walking in, and he decides to stop the plant instead of contesting anybody else. Map point for Soniqs.
Good job, Pablo.
Good job.
Good job, guys. One more round. Let's just get this shit. I actually shit on that guy. I had no idea where
Iconic, the attempt of getting another kill to make it 2 in the round in favor of Astralis, shut down by a 180-degree flick from Citizen on these stairs.
I got the army wall. You focus to rotate right now. Just put bar middle and fucking.
Listen, let's get some of these. Let's get like the far right side triple wall so they can't be outside deep holding our cross 3 right now. Let's put a bandit on our fucking radio wall too here. All right.
Yep.
Are we putting a Troy mirror?
No.
A Troy mirror? Oh. Haven't heard that one before. Do I have an idea? Actually, I'm not sure where I would put the Troy mirror, I'll be honest. I don't even think Troy really plays mirror as far as I can remember, but hey. Not currently, at least.
Maybe at one point.
Maybe at one point. I mean, back in the way back when, there was BC playing that bucket mirror role. Remember, he had a phenomenal clutch against my team back then with a C4 in hand, and that round haunted me for a very long time, I have to say. For this round, however, mirror is being brought out as mentioned. I'm looking for where those mirror windows will be placed. There's 2 in pocket of shuttle so far, so a decision yet to be made. It could be on purpose, however. See where the push will come from, then put them down, or just a late setup. Fountain mirror. Oh boy, this seems back to like the old border before the rework.
Oh yeah.
People always put the mirror there, held this triple wall. Hard to break it apart because there's no soft destruction below. It's that fountain area. You can get a line of sight, but you can't get directly below it. Second mirror going down on the armory wall to help hold outside of security. So the extension on this armory defense is to hold as much map control as possible. One mirror helps security, second holds office. One mirror playing inside out near prep with a rotate. And you have your man of the hour, the Jaeger. That's going to be Spiff. Makes perfect sense to put him in this position because he's been playing him so well. Always in these do or die moments. He finds 2 kills almost every single time.
No damage yet. Timeout worked for Astralis. 2 rounds right after taking the TO, they win. Things were back to normal, round number 11. Pity though, Astralis got that very first opening duel. Still searching for the first kill in this round, about to hit the halfway mark. Spiff and Iconic are about arm's length apart. Spiff going for the run, he's playing inside of security and will now drop, giving his position away. Oh, Soniqs are so close right now. Inside a supply, and Gunner takes Spiff down. That's the hard carry from Astralis so far in this map.
Disgusting.
Forrest for the run out, cuts him off of a wire. Soniqs getting slaughtered as Forrest picks up 2 kills to add to that. Now it's a 2v2 though. Both teams finding their blows. Look at how close this game is. I'm feeling it overtime in my bones, Nick.
Yeah, and again, trading so effectively both teams. It looks like it's going to be a one-sided round for Astralis, but we're now back to a 2 versus 2 just 20 seconds later. Forrest, very low on HP, 2 nades and pocket off Grixer. Armory wall, takeable for the attacking team because mirror window has been dealt with. They're in.
Rexon vaults in, he knows that he's got 1, but has to pick his poison, does it so well. Grixer's got Diffuser, Iconic to the rescue to try and save this map. Astralis' map pick. They don't want Soniqs going to their map. Up 1-0, and there's some damage to the wall. Iconic moving around the entire map. He might have found a blind spot. Down goes Rexon, but he's given his position away, and back towards Armory he'll go. Clock continuing to run. Iconic, great game sense. He'll have to duel Grixer. He's full HP, Grixer not. Knows where he is, though, now. Playing on this armory wall. Iconic has some protection, baits it out. Just killing time, but Grixer expects to jump out and sends Soniqs to map 2 up 1-0.
You did a good job there. Grixer ice cold with the 1v1. Otherwise, it's overtime on the menu. That is Astralis map pick of Border, but Soniqs, they show up in great force.
A lot of people had Soniqs in the Final Four. You picked them to make it to the finals. Well, they're gonna need a lower bracket run to accomplish that. And if it's gonna happen, it has to start now. They snipe Astralis' map 7-5. And in just a few moments, we go to Oregon. Can Soniqs close it out 2-0? We'll find out in a few minutes.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a two-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
the way Astralis had expected. Soniqs stunning them. 7-5, overtime not even required. But yet again, Nick, it's another map that we need all 12 rounds to see finish.
Not a single of the matchups today or yesterday have been one-sided whatsoever. And honestly, going from Border onto the next map of Oregon, I don't think it's gonna be any different. I think 7-5 is like the minimum, and if not overtime.
What happens now on Oregon? Because the way these teams played, right now, the big thing that I see is the gulf between these players. Take a look at your scoreboard right now. The worst performances on Soniqs were Rexon at 7-9, which, as the highest rated player on the team, probably isn't going to happen too often. You were gifted a freebie with Rexon not playing that well. Geo going 8-9, that's it. But the support on Astralis, Shuttle and Forest, both going 6-11. For Shuttle, that's a bit more understandable because of the role he plays. For Forest, though, not really acceptable for how he plays on this team. They need more out of Forest, desperately so.
Yeah, and the injured devs as well. -2 on Shuttle, -3 on Forest, but actually Gunner had 5 opening kills, only a single opening death. And sure, we can look at the opening kills and deaths and say that's not that great. But the counter argument is that because the teams were trading back, you know, these were not uncontested opening kills where you play 5 versus 4 for a while. No, the moment someone dies, someone else will die right after every single time. So it's not too punishing for Astralis, at least on Border. Oregon could be a different story. Oregon is a very linear map, especially at basement bomb side. If you die as a defender, it's hard to strike back because there's a very fine line in the ground that you cannot typically cross. So the opening kills value definitely goes up for this map to come off Oregon. We need a Warden. They're so afraid. That's what the Ying Glass did to them. 1 round, Parker, of that rush. And now it is just imprinted in the back of their head that Warden, 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 just in case it happens again. That is the benefit of these rush rounds, especially when it works for you. When it doesn't, it's one of those like, man, what are they doing? These guys are fools. But when it works, there is some value to be gained. We're flying through Oregon right now, showing you off all the bomb sites. Arbiter bans are happening at the same time, and would you look at that? Well, you guys can't see it. Hold on a second. Ying, banned by Astralis immediately. Only took them 2 seconds to make that choice.
Suppose the Warden's not going to have the same amount of value as it would with a Ying on the board, but will still be a crucial operator on defense. Warden is often quarterbacking that play when the smokes go out because, well, you can see through them. With those smart glasses on, revealing whatever is on the other side of it. Hibana gone, so there will be 1 fewer hard breacher on the board, but I expect to see an operator that is capable of running that secondary hard breach gadget in place of the Hibana, especially when tackling the bottom floor.
Not again.
Solus is gone, and Astralis will ban out the Frost for the 2nd map in a row.
They must really hate Frost mats. Because again, neither Border or Oregon are the biggest window maps. It's not like a skyscraper, it's not a clubhouse. Of course, there are bomb sites like upstairs on Oregon, where windows, they are very present on both master bedroom side as well as the big window and towards the bomb site itself. And then there is basement where you don't want to have to worry about looking at the ground. You want to look up head level to take those gunfights. And also, it's an operator that Soniqs likes to bring across most of the bomb sites when they are on the defensive side. So it makes sense if you don't care about banning the Asami, for example, because you want to play it yourself. Solus is Soniqs' most banned defender throughout invites so far. And it could be a mixture of multiple things. It could be that because Solus is such a new addition to the team and they got Citizen over last minute, they don't feel like they are comfortable playing with it or against it. Or maybe they just deem that it's too strong, that their opponents, you know, they can use it to quite a high effect, therefore remove it from play. Either way, Solus not able to get played on Oregon. Valkyrie is open once again. It's gonna be Gunner on the Maverick, and you are questioning the secondary hard breacher. Park, and you are correct. Geo, attacker repicking onto Capital to give this basement attack some more strength, right? Some execute with those fire bolts and the smoke bolts. The secondary can openers with the hatches. No kite being brought that we know. Of course, Soniqs, they don't necessarily have that information. They bring the Maverick just in case to bring open those hatches, in case they were kite clawed.
I'm going to be keeping an eye on something that I've been talking about ad nauseum. That's those opening duels.
Yeah.
Spiff was the standout performer for Astralis. Can he keep it up? Will Rexon bounce back after a rough first game? Will Forest bounce back after a rough first game as well? Soniqs picked this map. They must be very confident, very comfortable.
Soniqs, they have played Oregon before a single time. It was a 7-5 victory against Direwolves in a match that they, quote-unquote, didn't seem to care all that much about. I believe this happened so late in group stage that the outcome didn't really make a big difference. And I believe Direwolves was already confirmed home at that point. Whereas Astralis, they played it once as well. It was against BDS. They suffered a 3-7 loss on Oregon as well. So both teams have history with mixed results between them. It's a slow start from Soniqs, just kind of feeling out how aggressive the opponent might be. Flashbang goes out, blinding Forest, force him to run back down the staircase. No engagement will be had, but it means now full map control to the attack inside as all 5 defenders are on the bomb side. We will be looking at these last 20-second executes for most of these basement attacks.
There's a long run here through the lower bracket before these teams can make their way to the main stage on Friday. For either of these squads, winner of this contest goes up against Loss 1. The LATAM team that was bounced down to the lower bracket yesterday, losing to Wolves 2-0. Loss 1 will be in action later today. So the winner gets about a 3-ish hour rest. If you're Soniqs, you want to get this game over with as quickly as possible so that you have as much time to prep. It's almost mutually assured destruction if this goes to all 3 maps, because either Astralis or SQ are going to have limited time. Hold on a second here. Soniqs, their guns have found their marks. Rexon's the first one to die for SQ. Gunner joins, but not before Spiff and Iconic have both been eliminated. 3v3, 20 seconds to go. Shuttle in a great position with the shotgun playing next to the laundry machines. It's an easy swing to take out almost all the HP, but Gio is prepared for it. He needs to put something to work. He can't do it. J90 and Grix are in a 1v1 with 5 seconds left, and Pablo can't do a thing. Astralis starts off Soniqs map with a round win.
That is one of the first time we've seen Soniqs being far away from one another, and we see the result of it. The trade does not occur. Gio gets shut down in the 1v3 at the very end into that 1v1 from the mirror, and then 7 seconds on the clock. You gotta be sprinting through that bomb site, trying to find it back. Grix are too far away on the Ash, couldn't get the kill. But that's the basement bomb site. It heavily favors the defenders, and yet it comes down to the absolute final moments of the round in that 1v1. That just tells how close this match is likely to be on Oregon as well. Mirror being brought out in the Warden, again respecting the smokes and the possible flashbangs. Now Ying is banned away from Astralis, so the power operator of Ying is gone, but Capita brought in round number 1. Hovered for a brief moment in round number 2. Attacker repicked onto Amaru instead. Back to Capita. We're gonna go back to Amaru.
It's the same color. Maybe he's just getting confused. Oh,
and it's different.
It's a Maverick.
So the Amarus often take big tower control very quickly, but there's an attic rotate from Astralis, so most likely Gunner realizes that they can't just fly on in tier 3 of tower. Therefore, the Amaru pick goes down in value. Going to Maverick instead, guarantee those walls to be opened on up. No claws being brought from defenders once again, but the jammers from Shuttle will be there to slow things down. There's an upstairs hold of kids' bunks. They're not downstairs in kitchen.
One thing that the Ying ban does tend to result in is a higher pick rate of Capitao.
Yeah.
We saw that on Cafe in the matchup of SSG that we did earlier today against Heroic, and we're probably going to see it again here on Oregon, because while you have a Ying that can blind everybody, the Capitao with those fire arrows, capable of keeping people at bay, doing a lot of damage, but mostly displacing and creating area denial. And then if there's either no Warden on the board or you can get an early pick on the Warden, those smokes are extremely strong. Now, as we heard Astralis say before the map even began, we need a Warden.
Yeah.
Iconic is running the Warden on this round, and I suspect that for most laundry supply and then the double dorms defenses from both of these teams, a Warden will be present.
Yeah, I would not be surprised that was the case either. It's Iconic on it right now. The way you look at Arkin is that you typically have your stable 3 of operators. It's going to be a hard breach of Thermite, nades on either the Sledge or Iana or both, and 1 soft breach operator. Gunner on the Maverick is the +1 operator. Could be, again, the execute operators like Lion, like Capital, Ying if it's open, or the secondary hard breach. Beautiful rotation for Gunner when that C4 was ripped on open. But Astralis, they're aggressing forward, but Gunner reads it so well. Gets a kill into Warden. No longer in play.
What did I say? You get the Warden down and suddenly anybody with smokes gets exceptionally good value. Gunner's been dropped, Geo to the rescue, J90 dropped, and now he's dead. It's just Shuttle and Forrest last alive. Forrest absorbing a ton of damage, but Grixer's there. This is an all-out brawl. This leaves Forrest to retake. The handiwork of Maverick will be what he assesses as he peeks his way through Attic and slowly crouch walks up to the bomb site. Geo gets the diffuser down successfully, and now you're in a post-plant. Forrest doesn't have any intel. Grixer's jumped out big window, Forrest blinded. This is going to be tough for him, and it's Geo who pivots and sees him inside of dorms. Soniqs win round 2.
So it's just these side eats right now.
Yep. That's all it's going to be, bro.
Let's go beat
And
it.
they're stupid. Dude, Richie, I heard a Nitro get ripped and I beat Feet, bro. I should just killed him. I tried to shoot it.
Was the mute not down? That is crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he was just in pit.
And pit Attic.
Was the guy who ran to kill him? I shot him, yeah. I thought I killed him and I ran away from him. And I killed someone else. I shot one guy in the knee once and he died. Probably that guy, yeah. That's crazy.
I honestly thought that Geo had ice in his veins. I was gonna make a comment about it after that voice comm listening. Because Geo shot the mutant pit so much, turned around, and just isolated Mirror in that 1 versus 1. And he did not care about the possibility of a flank. We knew that mute wasn't down because we have the overlay that shows it. And I thought Geo was just like, I don't care. But then, turns out, he was overconfident because he thought he had downed the mute. But it pays off for them, because Geo allowed himself to get so aggressive to get that kill on Mira. Grixer is there with the backup, cleans up the bottom side, and last member is Mossy on the flank of Big Tower. And if you go, way earlier in the round, you can actually deduct if you're Soniqs who the last member is and where they should be. Because that's the same Mossy who tossed the C4 early in the round onto Gunner inside a Big Tower. That means Mossy's downstairs, he has 3 ways up. White stairs, Armory stairs, and Big Tower. And you likely have a drone on either Armory stairs or White stairs. That means you can pretty much guarantee the Attic is going to be the place of interest. And just hold that angle. Spawn peek, it's successful. It's late in the round, 20 seconds is late for a spawn peek, that is. It's gone off the board. That second set of grenades is gone from the table, but you still got the bug for verticality. It's not all over for Soniqs. They can still take top floor and get their initial plan rolling. One of the very only opening kills that is not contested even in the slightest.
Yeah, very definitive.
Rare to come by in this matchup.
Huge pick on the Gunner. Gunner's another player in this map who's had some consistency issues. It's been called out on social media. It's been mentioned by him and his team. It's not the start that they want from him, especially on this sledge. In terms of soft destruction, you've got Rexon there as well. Rexon has not started off as strong as one would hope. Map number 1. Rexon was way below his expectations. Seeing the same thing so far on 2, but we're halfway through round number 3. There's plenty of time for this to turn around.
Difficulty here for Soniqs of breaking apart this stronghold. They're coming from the same angles. Big window is there, but a beautiful opening from Rexon.
And he picks up 2. Grixer with 1 as well. Astralis lose 3 players. They're left with these bookends of Iconic and Forest on the left side of your screen. You got Nalda. Capcan Trap's still up. There's 1 EDD in the pocket of Iconic. I don't think he's going to have time to put it down, nor the desire to do so. Forest here's 1, and he does a lot of damage to Citizen. That cloaking device isn't going to save you. Forest, mag dumping, still 51 bullets left. That's the power of the Alda. The bomb site, though, not where the skirmishes are happening. The last 3 players from Soniqs have to head over towards meeting. They've got the hatch opened up, just as Soniqs have done. Great patience. Gio is going to drop amidst the flashbangs. He can get the plant down, and he's got some safe coverage. The buck walks out. Iconic easily finishes off Rexen. That's what you get, Rexen, for those 2 picks earlier. Forrest far enough back that Aldo once again can chew right through them, but you cannot stand pat because the timer runs against you. Gio sitting on top of that diffuser. He does more than just get the objective. He gets the kill. What can Iconic accomplish? They're going to watch him from hatch and give his position away. Grixer don't miss. Soniqs 2 in a row.
Gunner, you need to get on the cams, bro. I'm flicking 17
Bro,
cams.
I'm flicking 17 cams. I got told to hold flank, I got told to hold someone else's cam.
They're gonna go laundry. What do you want to do?
I was just saying, Richie said
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I know, I went, but you died like the moment I slipped
it. Doesn't matter.
Shut up. As long as we're like making.
Next round. Can't get too caught up in the chaos of the previous one. Now, one thing that Soniqs they've done like 4 times now, 3 times on border, 1 time here in Oregon, is even when the bomb planter cover dies, Gio still sticks to the defuse with confidence, either gambling or because there's information available to them from drones. And it just means that 3 versus 2 going to a 2 versus 2, because the bomb goes down, Soniqs they maintain the advantage, effectively trading a death for a successful bomb plant. And then that clock starts. 45 seconds, takes 7 to defuse. They had that control above in the meeting hatch. That means they can see diffuser even if Gio were to die post-plant position. It's nicely held. Basing bomb set again.
I'm a little worried about the frustration that just came through right there for Soniqs, though. And I'm not worried in the sense that this result matters to me. I'm worried in the sense that if Soniqs start to tilt and they start to fight, obviously, things are going to go south for them. Right now, you're the team that won map number 1. It wasn't your map.
Yeah.
Sitting quite comfortably, 2-1. How does Oregon look in terms of sides? Well, Oregon came into today, as we said, one of the least played maps, but it is quite defender-sided. 62% of all rounds won by the defense. That is a very high number.
Yeah.
Laundry Supply Room is the 2nd most defender-sided bomb site in this entire map pool. Astralis won that site, so things going according to plan. Dorm kids upstairs, also defender-sided. Meeting hall kitchen, not defender-sided. Kitchen dining is, but it doesn't have as much of a pick rate as the other bomb sites. Back downstairs to this laundry supply. This will be the test for Soniqs, I think. If they can crack open this round and they can go up 3-1, proving that they can win the 2nd most defender-sided bomb site in the entire game, then Soniqs are in great shape moving forward.
No, this is certainly the moment to shine for Soniqs. And I mean, remember back when the first time they attempted it, it came down to 1 versus 1, 6 seconds left on the clock. It was so close. It's very doable. Shuttle isolated on the roam, could get caught off guard here. Gunner, he's in the right position. They don't know for sure where he is, though. It's a bit of a guessing game.
Much better game for Shuttle, but he's about to turn his back to Gunner. He sees the footprints.
Yeah, he knows.
I think he's got a great idea of this. He's not going to give his position away. The beauty of the Jackal Inox is that you don't need to actually activate the scan to know where somebody is. You can just follow the footprints yourself. Does Shuttle know? I think Shuttle knows. He does. And frustration that was present from Gunner will likely only increase. Astralis picking up kill number 1. That's huge for this bomb site.
Yeah. I would argue that Gunner might have been a bit too impatient, and he was down 1 and 3. I'm sure he wants to get active and do something on the map and feel impactful, but just staying alive in that moment for that possible late round flank, because he's already passed that shower hall default camera, that would have granted Soniqs so much value. And now to make things even worse, the secondary MPs do not find the Kite Claw. In previous rounds, Gunner was on the Maverick. That wouldn't be a problem, but right now it is. They're gonna go for backside take possibly with no hatch opening. This should not work for the attack inside.
Damning that you lose those smokes as well. That's huge. Smokes plus track stingers they're both combined. An excellent way to conceal a plant. Rexen dies to Iconic. Astralis finding their mark. Spiff getting out-dueled by Grixer, but it's traded back. Shuttle picks up number 2. Citizen's in the middle of the site, and he's tracking so well. He's got a great idea of where these players are. No vault into the cubby. Citizen in a 1v5 that is now a 1v3, and he knows that it's a bit hopeless. He can't get a single kill. Iconic seals the deal. Astralis tie things up at 2 rounds apiece.
So bad for fucking body shots, bro.
I think we go, I honestly think we go top here, and I'm going to take the zombie tower side. I'm going to fight for tower for my life here, okay? let's do a pit mirror right now. We're gonna mute forward now, and then let's put another pit mirror here. Let's take a Banshee for the walk-ins right now, so they're just walking it through.
Wait, so
yes, sir.
Default pit mirror and then one kids?
Yep. One pit mirror and then one in kitchen. Yeah, one in kitchen.
Not bad.
My eyes right now on Gunner. Not living up to the statistics right now, 1-4, but also in that, as I said, previous round. It's a small thing, but I find it quite impactful. The impatience, wanting to fight shuttle downstairs in kitchen, completely isolated, no help, no drones, nothing. It's a 50-50 decision to make. Do you fight? Do you wait? It feels frustrating not having any progress being made on your side of the map, but sometimes, as I said, just staying alive is valuable enough because at least at some point in the round, you can be activated. Instead, Soniqs got attacked 4 versus 5. Astralis knows one less angle can be pushed, one less angle can be held. When that execute comes through, that is where things start falling apart. Gunner now being put back on a more leashed role, gonna put it that way. Having to stay alive on the Capital, has the diffuser as well. And Geo actually having to go toe-to-toe with Astralis on the entry, playing the Twitch instead. I think it's very smart when teams, they have the possibility of changing operator roles around depending on who's having a great time and who's not. And Gunner, he's patient, waits in the window repel, finds a free kill onto Shuttle. Let's mute off the board.
Gunner needs that. Gunner really needs some confidence to stay in this matchup because this consistency issues will start to eat away at you. And even if your teammates don't say anything about it, which, for the record, I think Soniqs is a team that will say something about it, especially Citizen and Rexon. But if your teammates aren't saying anything about it, it will impact your confidence. You'll start to change up how you play. You won't feel as compelled to take gunfights because you won't have that same confidence in yourself to win them. You'll start playing a bit more scared, a bit more cowardly, maybe opt for different roles. That can completely derail you, and it'll change the way the team plays because they picked up Gunner to be this utility player who can also frag well. The good news is, as we've talked about before for Soniqs, they have a ton of utility at their disposal. Look at Gunner. He's on hard support for this round. He's already smoked, diffuser goes down, and the round is over because Soniqs picked off all of Astralis as they roamed and then collapsed on the bomb site.
Perfectly put. Geo again enabling himself because Gunner can take up that supportive role.
3 armor as well, bro. Look, guys, it's not care. What did he do? Ran up lobby, we like 30
all the way, because I hooked up right and then I went up, so he went all the way around like.
Soniqs already got their 3 rounds.
Is that Starbucks on that WWE thing, or what is that?
It's arguably first half won for them. Sure, like
Starbucks
Charlotte wins, it's tied 3-3, but given the fact that Allgren is defender-sided, it's a great place to be in, and they can make it 4. It's going to be a tertiary bomb site attack. We heard Astralis earlier, Iconic saying, when we lose a bomb site, just go through it, don't go back to it twice in a row. They've kept up that promise. Whenever they lose a bomb site, they never return until at least 2 rounds later.
I mean, why go back to it if you feel confident, right?
Yeah.
Dorms, again, is another bomb site that is closer to a 50-50, but still favors the defense. And Astralis have only one laundry supply down below.
Yeah.
They've not been able to do much on these tertiary bomb sites and nothing on the secondary bomb site either. In fact, that last round was the most dominant that we've seen from Soniqs yet. And they looked so calculated with how they executed. The switch for Gunner lasts only a single round. He goes back to Sledge. Maybe he earned his way out of the doghouse. I'm not sure. But with the way that they set that up, him playing Capital, which was something he'd mused with earlier when we saw him flicking between Amaru, Capital, and eventually settling on Maverick. And he played Maverick on last Storms. It was the right call to stick him on that Capital. Things worked out beautifully for Soniqs.
Now, we know Iconic said he's going to hold Big Tower for his life, and the thing is, it's only Citizen over here applying a bit of pressure. The main push isn't going to be contesting Big Tower, but rather that master bedroom side of the map or inside lobby. So Iconic, he'll waste time, arguably, but he'll be alone on that side of the map. Soniqs, they don't particularly care about that location. The rest of Soniqs, they look for a frontside attack, while Citizen will go for a backstep on the Nuke to utilize that gadgetry of the Nuke cloaking device. It's a slow round, however.
Final attempt for Astralis on, statistically, the more favorable side of Oregon to tie up this game and send us to the second half at 3 apiece. I would say that Astralis unable to get 4 rounds is already a significant loss for them.
Yeah.
When you look at a map that is won 62% of the time by the defense, 38% of the time by attackers, Astralis needs 4 rounds. Now, in order to tie things up, they've got a first pick on Norexan. That's excellent. The buck is gone. Citizen will follow. Gunner gets a kill of his own. Soniqs trying to keep it close, but Shuttle up top, putting in so much work, and he sees another outside on Master Balk. Nitrocell goes out. Dancing around it is Geo, and he doesn't want anything with that. He gets out of there. All the while, Grixer off site. Smokes Forest. Astralis with the upper hand, but it's close. 3v2 with a minute to go. Soniqs don't really have drones to work off of. Don't really have a ton of utility either. A Selma, breaches, claymores, and an EMP are going to do you pretty much nothing. The Selma might be good enough for opening up one angle, but those drones are what's a real killer. And Astralis collapsing on main lobby. Geo hunting down the bandit, 2 more. Geo has 6 kills. This is an incredible performance from the support player. 1 on the ground. He's in the middle of the site. Sees the Azami and now has to worry about security, and that will be where they ultimately pinch him from. And it's exactly what happens. J90 as the cross. Astralis play cat and mouse with Geo. The first half. 3-3.
Beautiful crossfire being held in the 1v2.
We need to do some hard nose fucking arc here. Side's off the clears.
So these guys counter. Are we gonna do? So we could do Gunner on Freezer. We're not gonna be able to do the Z play. We've shown it on stream. Okay. Okay. Blue guy. Ring. Remember, these guys fucking execute. Yes, executes.
We're right there that don't do the C strat. We've shown it on stream, and this is how it goes. Where teams, of course, have many variations of the same, defenses and attacks, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of what has been shown on public streams and what's been done in scrims, many times in the past. And also, have you scrimmed Astralis using that particular strat? Because these are both 2 teams from North America. Odds are that because they're in the same region, they scrim each other a lot more frequently than that if it was like an EU-NA matchup or even an NA-LATAM matchup. So they won't do whatever that strat is going to be. They got something else cooking up. They got Gunner on the Kite Claws to deny those hatches. That means either Thatcher or Maverick will have to be in play from Astralis' attack and lineup. They got the Buck as the secondary Heart Breacher together with the Capital. So a ton of different utility because there's no main Heart Breacher. Then you get the Thatcher in the mix, which kind of brings it a little bit down as well, as the primary gadget is just going to be that primary EMP. It's a safe lineup. They can deal with, I'd argue, every obstacle in their path. It all comes down to execution, as we always say. It's going to be a roam clear first. Astralis going from small tower. Forest making the way all to big tower by himself. Start droning out the green hallway. Soniqs, they have some presence in the main staircases. Just looking for a drone or 2. Fall back 1 room. Stall for a little bit of time. Attackers typically want a minute and 10 to 20 seconds at minimum to start working that bomb site itself. That means opening up the hatches, tower stairs, etc. So Astralis, within the next 30 seconds, should start breaching open those hatches to be on pace.
Very bad game by Spiff so far. And that is a boat anchor for Astralis. An albatross around their neck, if you want to use that term. I mean, you've got this weird duality where Shuttle is now playing far above his own standards and historically far above where we've seen him at the Six Invitational.
Yeah.
And he's getting impactful kills. He's roaming. He's not playing sheltered roles. He's not playing sheltered positions on this map. Spiff on entry has just not been getting it done. And it could be you're a newer player on a newer team. You haven't played a lot of Oregon at this level. On maps like Border, where Astralis is very familiar, Spiff is going to do a lot better than on a map like Oregon, where he might not be as practiced. It's a learning curve. He'll get there eventually. He's shown great potential and has been an extraordinary performer for Astralis. But that 4-2 that we talked about, that Astralis should have hit on their defense, could have been possible if Spiff was a bit more comfortable and playing a little bit better on this map. All the while this is happening, Rexon had that good round, but other than that, he's been very quiet for Soniqs still. the best rated player for SQ, and he has not been able to have the influence that he wants. Astralis rushing into the site. All of a sudden, they've got a flawless round if they can find Grixer. And they get it. Why? Goodness gracious.
A flawless basement attack to start things off. The pace was good. 1 minute 40 seconds, Hedge got opened on up, but they go for that out of nowhere execute. J9 finds the opening, Astralis the follow-up, dropping down the meeting hatch, and just wins every single 1 versus 1.
The next time, if they go base here, bro, let's drop a 4, just gonna mute, and we can burn the util.
Yeah, but fuck talking about what they just, like, let's see what they're doing right now. Let's stay ahead. We know they adapt round the round, so we gotta stay ahead. Let's keep it going. Find this info right now. See what they change, because they're gonna be changing something.
Yeah, again, wise words from Iconic saying, let's not predict the next time, but see what they do. And it's a wise call to make because they're not even downstairs. They're going to change their bomb site despite that basement being so favorable to the defenders. They're going to go secondary instead. Kids Bung, change things up. Don't allow Astralis as good of a execute-oriented bomb site.
I mean, if you think that Astralis just have the special sauce when it comes to that bomb site, why go there again? There's always that strategy in play as to whether or not a team will defend the same bomb site twice in a row. You've spoken about it a lot, and your experience being there, honestly, it's incredibly vital for the people that are listening. The thinking behind it is that if you think that it was small little mistakes that can easily be corrected yet have a massive influence on that round, then go there again and tighten it up.
Yep.
If you think that you got blown out and you're like, damn, we got smoked, you're going to go somewhere else and say, maybe we'll take a round off.
Yeah, absolutely that. And the thing is, let's say they win basement, they got to go kids defense anyway. So now you can just change up the rotation. Don't give Astralis the pattern recognition either, because when they go back there, that information can be older in the back of their mind, and it's hard to pick apart what's actually going to be different. So I think it's a wise choice to make. And Astralis have to adjust their entire attack. Armor flying in tier 3, but it's clear. No one's there.
Oh, look up. Look way up. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a comet! No, it's an Amaru, never mind.
We've seen our fair share of funky Amaru strats in our time, and nowadays people don't go as crazy with it. They still take that map control incredibly fast.
I mean, a lot of people still view this Amaru as a bit of a troll pick, but there's a lot of value from that operator. First kill of the round comes with just a minute off of the clock, and it's Gunner. He's turned things around after a disappointing first half. And again, it's all about the confidence.
Yep. Especially on defense, because now you can swing out into gunfights whenever you want to. It's easier to pick your fights as a defender in Oregon because very quickly in the round, the attackers, they'll let their position be known. Master Bedroom Balcony, Attic, for example. And sure, the attackers can execute and they can walk up and take the fights, but before the execute happens, you as a defender can make your decision to up and fight back first. That's what Gunner did. He knowingly took that gunfight, swinging out aggressively. He got rewarded for it. Now they got the advantage. Again, these are Maru strats.
No way.
If you hit anybody on the way in, you will kill them effectively.
We had one Garaha kill so far in this event. I think it's the first Garaha kill that we've ever seen in an international tourney. Gunner's gonna hear this. Have they droned him? Oh, he might not.
I mean,
all quiet on the Western front. You gotta go at this point. J9 doesn't have any other options, and he's in, but he can't contest with Soniqs as they find every player on Astralis. They've set themselves up for their own flawless round, unless Iconic can drag one down. He does, but that's all he gets. 4-4. These two teams so evenly matched on map 1, and it has not changed at all on map 2.
Also, that's basically 2 flawless rounds in a row, but for each team. It is never close, but at the same time, oh so close. J9 flicked too early, doesn't get the kill. That ringing. Oh,
that's not. No, I don't care for that.
Oh, that was nice to my ears.
No, not one bit.
And now we see that base and bump site come into rotation again. So, yeah. Now the mentality kind of gets to reset. Soniqs can make small or big adjustments to the bomb site. They're bringing the same operator lineup as previously. Came down to that backside execute. J9 was on Twitch last time, got the opening kill to DMR. That really started things off for Astralis. Arbiter style for them. They said, let's see the bomb site, see what changes that Soniqs have made, and then we make adjustments ourselves. So far, 2 attacker repicks being shown.
10 seconds to insertion.
Nuke onto Buck, get the floors on the board, sense a blitz. So you know what blitz means. It's a very
It's rush time!
Yeah, buddy. Gonna go that blue, most likely. Just hit it super quick. Of course, they could also say, we got the blitz for when we want to go quick, but it won't be right off the rip. So there is, of course, a matter of like the rush will occur, but it might not be happening in the first 30 seconds. It seems like Astralis, they are slowing things down, drawing out how many roamers there are before making the decision. Jinano, with their return drone, starts prepping blue, gets the Goyo fire. He also got the shield and elbow, but at the very least he got the barbed wire if there was a shield. There's no remains of a shield.
Did he get? Oh my God, Nick! Did he get it or not?
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm gonna say he got it because I don't see a shield anywhere. Good job, Jin. I know.
Great job, buddy.
Where are the members of Astralis? Sensors on the main stairs. Blitz going towards construction. So it's been prepped and ready for the blitz now. That Goyo fire canister was popped earlier. But I think Astralis will apply pressure from multiple sides at once. Lobby stairs, freezer stairs, and big tower.
The Electro Shuffle, one of my favorite terms in this entire game. Shuffle those electric claws. There is a Thatcher on the board.
That was close.
But the secondary hard breach works. Bad timing for Gunner, and look at that stank face. Gunner knows it. That is misfortune at its finest. Geo can't get the Rotero drone as it arms, and there it goes, right at the door of blue, leading towards Pillar. J9O and the Blitz just sitting outside. Sends, Blitz. I am excited to see how Astralis go about this. They did it without calling a timeout as well, Nick.
Yeah.
Grixer's ready for it, and he sees the Blitz going. Grixer has the cross. You thought you could accomplish it, but you could not. Now Grixer will sit there and post up as Soniqs, Gunner in particular, gets 2. Sends drops to Shuttle. They're out of action, and it's Spiff in a 1v4. On the back stairs, 3-7. Well below the high-flying performance of the previous map. What do? You're gonna hit the barbed wire on blue. Whether you make noise walking through it or you melee it, they're gonna know you're coming towards Pillar. You've got the hatch that's been opened up from that secondary hard breach, but if you drop, there's going to be a set of eyes on it, and if not, somebody's gonna be playing tight corner waiting for you to make that sound. And there it is. Citizen decides to go for the kill. That is an ego check, if we've ever seen one.
Yeah.
You have time to pull that off. Because while we've been talking about Spiff's advance, 25 seconds have been removed from the clock. Now it's do or die. Soniqs hoping to regain the lead, push themselves ever closer to ending this series and continuing their lower bracket run, and they'll do just that on this round. 2 more to go, and Soniqs put this map away and the series away.
I think it was a good idea by Astralis to go for that late push with the Blitz, but the only issue was missed timing between the Flores and the Blitz push. The Rotero drone came out after Blitz died. It was a Warden. Right place, right time. Gets that free kill.
We showed these guys this, by the way, and they just went small. They just ignored us and went fucking. These are the ones that, remember? I got a white guy.
Yeah, they tried to slaughter me. Oh, yeah, they like.
So it's again the small things. The devil really are in the, or devil is rather in the details.
Or devils.
The devil, yeah, maybe there are multiple devils.
I mean, if you follow religion, there are indeed multiple devils, just as there are multiple gods.
And the devil appears in various shapes, depending on who you are.
That's correct.
Yeah.
For me, the devil, olives.
Yeah, and
also
bread, yeah, and bread and sugar and a lot of things, Parker. That's unfortunate. For me, it's chocolate. It's always just like, I just want to taste it whenever I see it. You know, I can't stop myself. I'm working on it.
I never really had a sweet tooth, which I suppose does benefit my health condition, but I always loved pasta, I always loved bread, I always loved grains. Thanks to a Canadian discovery, this thing called insulin, I can still eat them. Just, I have to be very careful. Anyway.
Yeah.
15 seconds into the round, that's enough banter.
Small tower extension by Soniqs. Gio mentioned it in the voice com, said that they just kind of left us alone last time, so let's do it again. And it appears that Astralis, upon discovering that they were indeed holding that small tower, they will go elsewhere. So Master Bedroom over, open up that soft wall, it's Spliff on the entry, gets the Evil Chem of Armory through the wall, there it is. He needs backup though, can't take top floor all by his Wholesome. There are multiple members here roaming, that's a free kill.
Oh, Spiff gets it, Rexon shuts him down. If Rexon comes online, this could be over for Astralis. The sleeping giant hasn't had much of an impact so far. The kills he's gotten have been hugely influential, but they've been few and far between. Not the case for Grixer, who now through the barricade, aims for somebody on Astralis, doesn't connect, loses more HP than it was worth. Stage has been blown up, as has Attic. J9O's exothermic charges are both perfect, and it now will force Soniqs to retreat off of their aggressive hold towards back tower.
If you're Soniqs now, tough choice. Do you hold on to near the bomb site? Do you lash out for a pick? Because both options can work. Iconic on the nuke here could find an absolute freak inside of server.
Oh, and Iconic finds that opening. Suddenly, Astralis has reduced Soniqs to just Gunner. They say, okay, you want to take off the site? We've opened things up. We'll punish you inside of it. That same stank face on Gunner. Surprised by the shots that will hit him. 4 players from Astralis. He walks into the grenade and then out of it. Thrown recklessly, haphazard-like, not timed properly. One inside of Showers. Gunner gets that kill, but loses most of his HP in the process. Astralis also know where he is now. Looking like another 12 rounds, Nick.
Yeah, it does.
Looking like another 12 rounds. All Astralis needs is the single pick. Gunner working well against the time, but the patience from Astralis is just too much. And the moment he engages a single player, they're going to punish him for it. J9O, he was exceptional that round. Did a lot of things that you don't see on the scoreboard, but J9O, a pivotal force for Astralis. And again, we've got a tie game. Neither of these teams able to shake one another.
On our side, with the floors here, and you guys take tower right now, because I think if you guys breach your tower, it's going to make the trophy position a lot weaker.
So reverse take?
Yes, reverse take. Let's kill this kitchen dude, and let's create some pressure, okay? If we try to split pressure, let's make sure we move here, okay?
Okay.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Iconic, of course, finding that 2K opening from the freezer below, walked up the staircase, using Nuke to perfection, not showing himself early in the round meant that Sonic couldn't track his whereabouts. If you see Nuke somewhere, you can typically figure out how long it'll take for them to get to that next position based off how fast you move in Rainbow Six Siege, and players at this level of play have a really good read for it. So by hiding and waiting for the right moment, just striking a single time, you'll go untracked the entire round until it's over. Upstairs hold from Soniqs, and Iconic, as we heard, wants to take out that kitchen dude downstairs and apply that pressure. That's not going to be easy, however, if there even is a kitchen player on this bomb site, because it's right below the bomb site itself. There is a rotate in towards server, so that kind of gives us a tell that there might be a member there later in the round. Oh, I think Gunner was putting down the gadget and got shot through the window. It looked like it, at least. I don't think he was swinging back. Unfortunate. It's Forrest to take that kill. Forrest 7-7, now even on the board. This might force Soniqs to be overly aggressive. Rexon actually snuck past the Twitch drone.
Yeah, this is a huge opening right now for Astralis. Look at this. They're going to add to it. Grixer goes down. Soniqs watching this magic that they had on Oregon just completely evaporate. And what revenge it would be for Astralis after Soniqs took Astralis' map for Astralis to take Soniqs' map.
With this big of a lead, the pressure is on not to throw it away. That's the big thing. Risk taken has to be assessed now, the risk versus reward factor. The reward can be big, but what about the risk? Citizen solo on HP, 1 bullet and he's out. Geo aggressive on the armory stairs towards the lobby itself. It's holding down that part of the map. But the nade, it finishes the job on the Citizen. Enabling Soniqs, well, disabling them rather, and enabling Astralis to hit the bomb site momentarily, but it's a 1 versus 5.
And it's Rexon 2. Makes it a 1v4. This bomb site does not work in your favor. Diffuser going down, the walls will close in on him. And if these walls could talk, what they'd be saying to Rexen right now is goodbye. Spiff with the final kill. Astralis moves to map point.
Yes! Yes!
There must be a timeout called from Soniqs right now to try and regain some momentum and set us up for overtime.
I mean, certainly there's no way, right? It's going to go in one more round and risk it all.
I believe for the biscuit.
Risk it for the biscuit. Astralis calling a timeout, actually. Of course, both teams. No mind.
If they're calling a timeout, then like be ready for something.
I was gonna say.
Maybe they both did it.
It's literally for this round.
Fast. So if you want to run, if you want to take that risk, that's fine.
We should not.
What do I do clash instead of smoke?
If you want, I'm gonna go cap in. I'm gonna triple cap in the front door, and I'm gonna double cap in the box door.
Can you guys make all the holes?
Yeah.
They won't be able to get me out. I'll let you watch the whole back, or you guys gotta watch this blue.
Okay. I don't think they're gonna rush if we're bunkering though.
That's fine. You guys ready for the, we can do this, right? Clash?
Yeah.
It's up to you. That's up to you, bro.
I'll do clash bar. Remember, you guys gotta play like bitches. They're gonna try to fucking like just literally just sweep the leg here.
Want me to take smoke?
I can go smoke.
One of you if you guys want.
Out of me.
So are we roaming or are we bunkering?
No, we're bunkering.
Listen, one of you guys.
Take like a mage.
Alright, so it's default room clear until like that take Nick just called?
Yeah, and then we already know, and we run the roam clear take if they're doing the roam. The cap game's the top of the roam. I'm getting the top off right now.
There's a lot happening in those voice comms. A lot of discussion about the bunker hold from Soniqs and whether or not they should play out the clash on this round. Not a very commonly played operator, but it does get, you know, it sees play every once in a while. The downside is that you're typically playing one less gun as Clash has the shield up. The benefit is you have a walking deployable shield that slows and does damage. One of the easiest ways to leverage the Clash is if you do a soft roam early on and waste enough time. Well, the Clash gets stronger and stronger in the round, just like Smoke does with those toxic babes. The reasoning for that, well, if Astralis has to rush the bomb site sprinting on in with 20 seconds left, 30 seconds left, and Clash is right there to stop them, that's where the value goes up. But if the attacking team has a minute and 30 seconds to deal with the Clash, all of a sudden that value goes down as it's a lot easier to deal with. And it's also why we see Citizen aggressive on the room up above inside a meeting. He wants to stall for as much time as possible. He has one member supporting him, Rexen in mid tower. That's going to be how they escort Ben back to bomb site through that tower staircase.
It's a big gamble to go on a clash with the match on the line, and we've seen only a handful of clash plays so far at this event. Not anywhere near enough to give us some accurate information as to how they'll be. Citizen engaging early. Spiff, the kill, walks away with it. At one point, Spiff was 1 in 5.
Yep.
Now heating up. Spiff suddenly 8 and 9. And it all started with that very quick, very aggressive take onto Laundry to start off this second half. Since then, Spiff bouncing back to more of what we saw from the very first map. Now he'll go for intel, assist the rest of his team, not through kills, but from information.
Again, confidence so important. You're gonna take a 1v1 against Citizen? That's not ever something that you'd want to do. But Citizen himself finding him in a odd place, really. 5 and 10, not looking too hot and losing out that gunfight while Soniqs are fighting from behind to make things worse. With the clash being played, you only have 3 active guns on the board. When Astralis start hitting down that bomb site execute, there's only going to be 3 guns that can shoot back and a walking shield. That means Astralis, they can almost guarantee an opening somewhere with 5 members alive.
Absolutely. Citizen having a rough map as well. 5 and 10 is not a good performer for somebody that you brought over specifically to be one of the main points of attack. Plenty of time in overtime. Almost like a mental reset, but if you're Soniqs, you gotta get there first.
Yeah.
They see the clash. This is where things get tricky. Look at the lineup from the attackers. They've got 2 nades, Forest hands. Okay, they've got 1 nade from Spiff. Outside of that, and I guess the EMPs, there isn't a ton they can do. Try to knock this shield loose. Geo taking some damage, and now he'll slow them down. He relies on his team to do some damage, but Astralis' guns are better. An act of desperation from Geo, but Astralis send us to map number 3. The same scoreline as which it happened in map 1. Both of these teams take each other's maps in the 12th round. That gives us a showdown on Theme Park, and what a ride it's gonna be.
Yep, Theme Park, much more structured and strategical. It can play out so differently. Unlike the Clash of 10, but Astralis, the better team, they overcome the obstacles and they take the opponent's map pick.
Wow, Astralis. The ability to dig deep and make it work despite adversity working against them. They set the tempo with that second half and they carried the momentum onwards. We'll toss to a break, give you a little bit of a rest because we've got one hell of a third map between these two.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a two-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
everybody. Welcome back. We just had an exciting map number 2. Things are going the distance. 7-5 in map number 1 and 7-5 in map number 2 as well. We've seen Border, we've seen Oregon, but the only thing that matters now is going to be Theme Park. Now, strategically, this map is going to be so hard to pick apart for both teams. At first, let's talk about the stats, the numbers on your screen. Pretty even distribution. Top for Astralis on 11, top for Soniqs on 10. The bottom is 6 for Astralis and 5 for Soniqs. It's a full team effort across the board, but J9, as Parker said, really got the job done for Astralis on that map of Oregon.
Yeah, it's your superstar gunners that just are not showing up. Soniqs is, as this team with all the depth that we constantly talk about, we've practically trip over ourselves.
Yeah.
To mention Rexen, Grixer, Citizen, Gunner if needed, Geo if needed. And what happens? Rexen has not looked very good today, period. Citizen had a brutal second map. Gunner battled consistency issues through most of the matchup.
Yeah.
So that leaves Grixer and Geo. Now, these same players largely didn't have these issues all the way back on Border. So you can't even look at Astralis and say, as we said yesterday in the matchup that we casted, where it's like, okay, well, it's W7M versus BDS. W7M are making Shaiko and evac play worse. No, I don't think that's the case. These teams have said, and I think there was one quip at one point when we were listening on the comms where they said they hate playing each other.
Yeah.
Because Astralis is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And that unpredictability is what allowed them to get that finals berth against Dark Zero. But the roster that they had obviously wasn't good enough to win it. How do Soniqs bounce back? How is their mental? Because you saw it start to break a little bit in that second map. You heard some issues with Gunner and Grixer in particular fighting over, be quiet, just get on cams, do your job.
Yeah. Yeah, Citizen did make that note, and honestly, I don't think it's that deep. I think it's easy to feel personally attacked if someone says, hey, you have to watch this cam, you messed up, instead of saying, guys, we need to hold the cams better, because it can just feel very personal. Now, Goddess did call that timeout, and they spoke things through. It was relatively calm from Soniqs in that late half of Oregon. It didn't sound too bad, and it's very small things not going their way. Opening kills, getting caught off guard, Astralis building those early advantages. You made a comment early on, Oregon Park, that Spiff and Rexen, the two members that we're going to be looking at, well, one of them really showed up. Spiff started going from, 1 and 6 on the first half on defense to going like 9 to 8, I believe, or 10 and 8 on attack. He really started bringing home those early advantages, and the mid-round from Spiff staying alive, using those grenade utility as well. We saw it against the Clash. Geo did not have any real impact in that final round, thanks to Spiff. So let's see if they can keep it up for this third and final map. Dokkaebi will get banned every single time in this matchup. Her ban rate is absolutely up there. Ying, again, that one border round really causing an issue for Astralis. They're going to remove Ying from play. The defending choice they have to follow it up is going to be the Bandit. We spoke about Bandit bans happening every now and again. It's happened twice on Skyscraper. Now happening on Theme Park. Of course, on pretty much every single bomb site, you can play the Bandit actively to trick, but it's mostly a problem for the downstairs throne bomb site and upstairs bunk bomb sites, when you can just play on the bomb site itself, reinforce all the walls, and just Bandit trick happily behind it. Asami, the final defender to follow. The scene is set with the operator bans. Theme Park, whoever wins this map, they take the entire best of 3 series. The loser goes home.
Yep. There's a very real possibility. As much as many of your brackets were busted yesterday as M&M went home or went down to the lower bracket, Soniqs could go home. And that would firmly bust pretty much all of the brackets from here on out. I don't think there's a single person who saw Soniqs going home this early.
No. That would be a big surprise.
Obviously, mind you, I think there were a lot of people who thought the same of Astralis, but after the roster move, after benching Kansan, bringing in Citizen, a big heralded change to this roster, expectations soared.
Yeah.
Citizen has been one of the most consistent players in the world and has battled against some of the best fraggers in all of Europe and often wins.
Yeah.
To have him go 5 and 10 on Oregon is unacceptable by pretty much every metric that I'm sure the Soniqs have. But the good news is that usually that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
It's certainly a rarity. Citizen...
Expect him to bounce back.
Yeah, he doesn't have those games very often, and usually doesn't have them twice in a row. So for Theme Park, things can quickly shape up differently. Hatch is soft, leading to the bomb site, which means these aggressive roamers can fall back at a moment's notice. Geo, single side member holding down the fort. He has actually very nice lineup, right? Because Solis on the bomb site can still give information to the roamers where the drones are, the claymores, etc. Gunner might have tried to go for a C4, things otherwise off it that Hatch opened up. He is actually all the way downstairs. The Silhouette is playing games with me. The Soniqs have mostly left the top floor and gone one floor down, holding this horizontally rather than vertically.
There's one breach to open up. As Shuttle now has the double door in Cafe to open up, and just piece by piece picking up some parts of the map. How good is the drone work for Astralis? They've only got 2 drones out on the field at the moment. Not a lot to work with. So they're going to be starved for intel through a lot of this execute. But if they want to go for a relatively routine take on the Throne Armory, that's okay. But as you can see, Soniqs have extended outwards. They're holding a lot of the map that don't come really close to Armory and Throne. Extended over towards Lab, over towards Barrels.
Yeah. And the one member on the side is Geo with impact grenades. And it's important to note because with just a single hard breach of Ace, you can impact trick these Selma charges relatively easily. And there's only one left in Pocket of Horror, so hard destruction is very limited from the Astralis lineup. They got the 2 doors, the bomb site, and they got the hatch to work with, and it's gonna drop on in and try and take the fights.
That's the goal right now. Astralis, very first kill. Diffuser going down. Who's watching Forest? How is he pulling this off? Geo, the very first kill for Soniqs. It's Spiff to go, but Astralis are pixel perfect. They sit in the bomb site, and they clean house.
Listen. Okay, we see right there.
You said bunk?
Yep.
Oh, lab, okay.
Taking Valk every single round, bro.
I'm gonna go Frost. I'm gonna Frost.
Taking Valk every single round, bro.
Okay, I'm just gonna take Frost.
No words being mentioned about the previous round. I mean, it's relatively easy to pick apart, right? There's 1 member of Geo on the side, 3 members drop the hatch, they trade 1 for 1. You got 2 members planting down the diffuser instantaneously. It is a good run from Soniqs, but Geo not prepared for what might have happened to him. The hatch being soft, not sure if that was a mistake or intended. It looked like they were surprised and caught off guard by it, but they shouldn't have been. It should have been known to Soniqs that it was indeed soft as multiple members played in that location. Either way, new bomb site. That lab bomb site instead is going to allow you a lot of map roaming capabilities. It's why you also see all these shotguns being brought out. The Mute and the Frost impacts on the Solas as well. You can play across the top floor and the first floor. And this time, the bomb site not as rushable. Only 1 real way in, the side window. And for the first time, we're gonna see these Frost traps being used because Astralis, they opted for the Bandit ban instead. And you heard that right. Frost has been banned on both map number 1 of Border and map number 2 of Oregon, both times by Astralis. Didn't think I would ever say that, but that has been the case.
They didn't like playing against her, and I don't blame them. But now, we'll see what Frost can be done. Was this a major hindrance to Soniqs? There are the Rotero drones to go in. They can open up the walls quite well. They have a lot to look at. They've got the frost mats they can clear out. There's no deployable shields, but there is a bulletproof camera that they can take care of. There's those Goyo canisters to blow up as well. And while Rotero drones are likely not going to kill the Black Eye cams, you've got 4 more drones that you can use to scout where Valkyrie's gadgets are.
Yeah. The Flores drones is short-term information, so you'll still gain something from it. Combine that with a twit, for, like we saw in Oregon, you got a lot of drones at your disposal.
Loading mag.
Spiff having a decent start so far. Got the 1 kill in the opening round, so he seems like an attacker favorite kind of guy so far in the game here against Soniqs. Always in the Ash of the Iron on aggressive rolls. Playing rather comfortably on the entry, I would say. I've been quite impressed with him so far.
I've been very impressed with Spiff at this event. And as a longtime fan of Calvin and Hobbes, Spaceman Spiff being one of the personas of Calvin, I have a soft spot for the name. Not sure how many people that actively play this game under the age of 25 care about Calvin and Hobbes.
I didn't catch it, so...
That's okay. Geo losing a lot of HP. Forrest and Spiff both downed and now secured by Rexin.
What? Huh? What happened?
The round is over.
Flawless.
Rexin gets kill number 1 and kill number 5 comes in roughly 2 seconds later. Alrighty then.
Yeah.
You guys can wrap that shit up the yellow hall too. Like
And Rexin swung the arcade stairs, found 2 kills, and might have had a Frostman in Giraffe. I actually am not entirely sure, but either way, successful lap defense. Rotation, of course, still fearing that throne armory bomb site. It is the place to be as a defending team, but only if you can make it work in your favor. Astralis had this same thing happening on Oregon, where they attack basement the first time, flawless. It is so easy for them. Then Soniqs, they go elsewhere, then they go back to the bomb site, and then it becomes a little bit more difficult all of a sudden. See that trend will follow up. Attacker repicks coming out from Thermite onto Nuke and Buck onto Thatcher. I was gonna say, where's the hot breach at, Forrest? He agrees. Goes on to Ace instead. Only having 3 summer charges can be problematic, especially against those impact grenades that Geo brings time and time again. Gunner also with a set of his own. I'll say, I didn't expect Gunner to play as many operators as he has been so far in this best of 3. I quite frankly thought he was going to be a one-trick pony, playing mostly the same defending and attacking operator, but playing both the Jaeger and the Maestro, the Capital and the Jackal, Maverick. He is finding himself on a plateau of operators so far.
Good flexibility from some of these flex players, which is what you expect, right? That's why they pick him up. They thought he would be a good addition to the team.
Yeah.
They thought he'd be able to play support roles. They thought he'd be able to speak. He could entry.
I mean, I hope every player can speak. Otherwise, you certainly have some problems.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Imagine there's a frost mat there. The anchor on Force's face would have been priceless, but...
How much? I would have paid good money to see that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, unfortunately. He gets on in, gets back on out. Wallets open up for maintenance. No impact grenade goes out immediately, but it comes up shortly after.
Capcan Trap is found by Iconic, and that's ironic as he plays IQ.
Oh.
Now they know there's a Capcan on the Capcan on the board.
I suppose they do, but at what cost? Will half your HP on one member.
Win conditions, as I see it, for Soniqs. Rexin and Citizen need to have good games. That is it. Rexin has not had a good game so far. Citizen had an okay border and not a great Oregon at all. There needs to be redemption for both of these players. From Astralis, continue to set the pace, frustrate Soniqs. They do not keep as level ahead as we see from player comms as Astralis does. It seems like Soniqs get irritated far faster. Continue to set that pace. Spiff needs to do well, and you cannot have Shuttle and Forrest both underperform at the same time. If one of them can keep up with Spiff or at least hold their own, then Astralis are in excellent shape.
Spiff holding down the fort right now, looking into that bomb set angle, open up on bottom yellow stairs. With Terror drones going out, we'll give some information. Evil Eyes, of course, ready to go on the breach as well to deny these informations from the drone. Soniqs, they don't have the best position here on the map. Citizen pretty low on the bomb site on that initial entry.
You gotta wait for Grixer to get back, and that's exactly what he's doing through maintenance right now. Gunner holding his own. The buck by Dragon. Soniqs trail in numbers, but now they've equalized it. Down goes Iconic. J90 reads that so well. There's EDDs. You gotta watch your ankles as you want to go through the door. It's reduced to Gunner versus 2 players from Astralis, J90 and Forrest. Diffuser not held by either player. Ooh. And he gives his position away as Forrest turns and guns him down. Astralis regain the lead.
Oh my God. You're fucking nasty.
You're nasty.
Oh my God. It was literally just you fighting for your life.
So far, the team that gets that first opening pick wins the entire round. And Forrest types in chat, Gunner, I own you.
Oh boy. Bit of a taunt towards Gunner, that is, and you see it here. Weep, whoop, swoop, and gets the 180-degree flick. Gunner tried his best, but couldn't get the round. The throne loss 2 times in a row for the defending team is very uncommon to see. typically a very easy bouncer to hold as a defending squad, but Astralis making really good work of it, both with the roam clear and this side execute. Again, the trades, Astralis always so close to one another, working that number magic in their favor, and because they get that opening kill, they just have more bodies to throw at Soniqs. Bomb site rotation being changed up because it has to. Things are not working from the defenders. Bunks. Now this is also where the bandit bank comes in. You cannot play a 4 reinforced wall setup. That's why you like to see them being soft right now. You gotta play extended out, play aggressive, because without the bandit, well, tricking these walls is not going to work. If you play a mute or a kite claw, a single EMP will completely ruin your day on the bomb side. So instead, the mirror windows will give you a different approach to the same scenario. Astralis, they have no smokes, no twitch. They cannot deal with these mirror windows. Outside those Selma charges from Iconic, there are no mute jammers on the board or anything else, so the windows are easy to destroy once you get in position. Astralis, of course, can just say, we don't care about that side of the map, we go on Cafe Balcony instead, but taking Cafe is no easy feat either. Wall gets opened up. Citizen realizes just at the last second, runs away. No advantage really gained, but that breach that sees the mirror window, Citizen's position is limited now.
No way they're swinging this. They do. Gunnar gets very, well, it's actually Rexon who gets very confident. Gunnar loses his life, and now Rexon's itching for a fight towards Cafe. He just might get it and mows them both down. That's a huge play from Rexon to maintain control of Cafe. Spiff dies as well. These rounds so fast and so furious. Hard to tell who's going to come out ahead. Citizen sees the gun barrel, and that's an easy pick on to Iconic. Celebratory bomb. Forrest is outside the building. That's not where you want your Nook to be with 90 seconds to go.
Oh, it's not. And J9 and Shuttle, they do it up in the door to Cafe, but they didn't really shoot back. Rexon found both kills and both injures with the last bullet in the magazine. Jaeger, of course, seen that slight nerf a while back. Doesn't have 31 bullets anymore, but just 26. All he needed in that round was 26, however.
Ooh.
Tough position to be in. The crossfires are there.
Brutally hard position to be in, Nick. Like, tough is one thing.
Ah.
What do you do? Steps on the landmine. Soniqs win again. You know what I find really remarkable so far in this matchup? What? Go back to border. Astralis wins, Soniqs wins. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until we get to the second half. Oregon. Astralis wins. Soniqs win 2 in a row. Astralis wins. Soniqs. Astralis. 3-3 first half on border. 3-3 first half on Oregon. Theme Park. Astralis wins. Then Soniqs. Then Astralis. Then Soniqs. These teams are not just so consistent in the grand scheme of the map, they are so consistent that every single round is coming down to a couple small factors where neither team is able to shake the other.
Yeah.
There's no streaking really happening, other than Astralis winning 3 rounds in a row to close out Oregon. And Soniqs, I guess, technically winning 3 in a row on border, but one of them was won before the side swap. These teams are just within inches of each other.
They are.
Every round is a game of inches.
It speaks to the level of play that both of these teams are at, and it is a shame to see one of these two teams going home. Just like earlier, Heroic Space Station Gaming, we also saw one of those two teams going home. And the lower bracket is not made out of teams that are barely making it by or that are, expected to go out early in the tournament. No, the lower bracket run are top-tier teams, major champions, world champions. And now in this matchup, well, Astralis second place at Charlotte Major. Soniqs, very high expectations for this tournament. Neither has found very recent success, but go back the full year. Domestically in NAL, these two teams were top 4 every single time. Rexon might think about jumping out, but there are 3 members outside. It wouldn't be wise to do. Runs away instead. Astralis back to their original plan of applying this phantom pressure. Windows being opened up, hatches as well. No entry points being chosen as of yet, and they keep Soniqs guessing as to where they might be striking from. That's difficult when you're a roamer.
There are the cams to Forrest, who takes solid control over top of Dragon. Expecting somebody Maybe over towards control room, but nothing. Rixon's close by, but not in the actual vicinity of it. Don't be fooled by the silhouettes. This is not an office initiation bomb site. This is thrown for the 3rd time.
Yeah, 3rd time.
3rd time's a charm, I guess. They trade back and forth. Nobody really given an inch again.
It's supposed to be Astralis' round if they go back and forth, but 2 versus 4, it's still winnable. They gotta find these kills. They gotta do it quickly because clock is ticking away. Shuttle has the read.
He knows exactly where Geo is, but he can't capitalize. Knowledge is only half the battle. You gotta execute on it. J9-0 in a 1v3, but Grixer ends his suffering. Soniqs win 2 in a row.
Keep fighting him. Good fucking shit. That was so good. Good job, Richie. Good job, Gio.
Yeah, good play, suppose.
We just fight.
Gunner's way of playing Siege
is
remarkably simple.
I absolutely love Gunner's attitude.
Just fight them, they suck, fight them, fight them, fight them. We fought them, we won, fight them again. It's so simple. And honestly, if you want to fight your opponent on this map of theme park, going lap storage might just be the bomb set forward. We saw it back in round number 2, a flawless round 1 within 5 seconds, the first kill happening from Soniqs. You can extend out about all these rotation holes, the softballs, etc. You have so much map to work with. Soniqs looking at a 4-2 scoreline that Astralis couldn't get themselves back on Oregon when they were defending on that map. It's been straight down the middle on both the first map of Border and Oregon, 3-3 halves. Will we see it again? Will we see one team pull ahead? Well, it would have to be Soniqs, because Astralis are down too far to pull ahead now, with just the 2 on the board. Valkyrie being brought every round. Citizen said that earlier. Get that information up. The Campkins also working now, doing a ton of damage. Even found a kill previously on the throne defense.
That's an early
Lion.
Yeah, very early EE1D. I guess against this Astralis team, you gotta be a little bit, or against this Soniqs team, you gotta be wary of spawn peaks. We've seen them do it before. You know, I'd feel a little bit badly if Soniqs lose this one, solely because as I was coming down right before casting this, I was actually in the elevator with Gunner and Citizen.
Oh, okay.
And Citizen looks at me and he goes, "You're our good luck charm. I think we won every single time that you've casted us." Well, no pressure.
No pressure at all. Don't make us feel bad. Has been true though. But then again, Soniqs haven't lost that many times, so we'll see. Nate goes out, doesn't do any damage. Astralis, they peel off the members on the roam from Soniqs a little bit backwards. Citizen still holding on to the ground, knows they have to rappel on in. It's a favorable position to fight for him. Rexon also there. They have a buddy system going right now. No member of Soniqs really isolated and alone. We want to fight back in numbers and trade those kills against Astralis. See, they're all 4 people upstairs close together. So Grixer has gone down now with the Solus gadget. 1 member in the bomb set is Geo, I believe.
Setting up a breaching sequence. There go the Selmas. First kill goes to Soniqs. Down goes Shuttle. 1 in 5 for Shuttle. Forrest doing well though. Spiff a little bit under where he needs to be, but still doing okay. Again, these are the win conditions in terms of individual performance. It's a good thing you used that EE1D early on. There will be no more gadgetry from the Lion.
Loading mag. The thing is, Spiff is playing Flores now, not the right entry operator.
Guess who's having a great game?
It's Rexon.
Absolutely. Forrest flattens him. Emerging from that crouch hole, Astralis have bunk. They have daycare. They have to convert towards lab. They got a minute to go. Grixer might be the difference maker. Not only do Soniqs have a numbers advantage, but you can stick somebody on a deep flank, and Solus is honestly has to be the best flanker right now.
Yeah. You can see if there's any active cameras, claymores, etc., air jabs, whatever you want to look for.
Active drones.
Active drones, yeah. Astralis with 30 seconds left. I mean, they're near the bomb site, but they got a long ways to go. Capcom traps as well. Watch out for the doorways.
Gotta look down. You have an IQ on the board. You should be able to find them, but sometimes in your haste, you're not always seeing. Iconic rushes in. Down he goes. A double frost mat. Forrest cannot contend. And Gunner destroys J9-0. What did I say about streaking? I spoke it into existence. Soniqs have now won 3 in a row. The first half is theirs 4-2.
Our hearts surrounds it right here, boys. Let's go, boys.
And the frost mat. It happened. It was Forrest. He hit it. 2 below the same window makes it tough. If you fall down in too fast, well, you get yoinked by the mat and you're stuck. Cannot move, cannot get up. You need help from your teammate. No timeout taken. Side swap will happen as per usual. No strategical talks needed. Both teams going in confidently into this first round. Since the swap, shield on site, so similar setup I imagine. 1 member gonna be playing on the bomb site itself, holding down that, preventing a rush. 4 members actively playing upstairs and across. ADS and Cafe, walls getting reinforced towards office. So Astralis perhaps choosing just one half of the map to care about, whereas Soniqs, they're a bit further out, starting on that security side, killing the first drone from the hatch, then falling backwards slowly. With Citizen up above playing aggressively himself. He finds himself on Jacko now, who will be in the front lines, picking apart this setup. Geo actually ending that half with 8 kills and only 2 deaths, despite being the anchor player for most of those rounds. It's very impressive.
First half, by the way, in the books. Let's run through it very quickly. Throne played 3 times, Lab played twice, Bunk played once. In terms of opening duels, Astralis and Soniqs pretty much dead even. They both have 2 first bloods apiece, and then for the other 2 rounds, they were trades right back and forth. Astralis got some good objective play down, kudos to them. Soniqs, round number 2, flawlessly done. Then they won the 3 in a row. In fact, completing that full rotation of Bunk, then Throne, then Lab. No timeouts burned whatsoever. No team kills that we've seen up to this point. No real major blunders either.
No.
It's been a pretty clean game of Siege. But at the same time, we did have a couple of those rounds that were over in the span of about 5 seconds once the first kill went down.
Okay.
All right. Gunner decides to challenge or at least look into Cafe, and how dare he do that? When Spiff is in that position, nobody peeks into Cafe.
I was going to say,
for Astralis.
Spiff found himself on the floor in almost every attacking round, which honestly, I think that's a mistake, given his impact on both Oregon and the border on the entry, but Astralis, there's no way of talking about that. The attacks are done for initially going to OT, now it's defense, and now Spiff is allowed the freedom of roaming around, taking these gunfights to his choosing. Soniqs can't quite get past these reinforced walls as Geo is not on that side of the map and he has no summer charges left. That means you gotta find a different route around. Charlotte's looking very comfortable so far in this round.
Yeah, this is actually huge for Spiff.
Again.
Astralis hitting their mark. Soniqs lead, still holding firm, but about to go down by 1 round as Astralis answers with a flawless start to their defensive half.
That's all they gotta do. Listen, when it gets quiet, bro, it's inside time. No, it's inside time the whole.
Just trust each other, guys. Let's go.
Honestly, I think this might come down to the throne defense and attacks.
The cheesiest one's gonna win us.
Soniqs, they played it 3 times of defense, only won it a single time. Now, well, they get to attack it for their first attempt, and if they lose that attack and it's not even close, then Astralis has clearly shown that the better attacking team. And that's just the issue for Soniqs. They're not going to go back to defense unless they hit overtime. They need to find these rounds on the board. Only winning tertiary attacks is not going to be good enough. If Astralis can go 2 wins, 1 loss back-to-back, well, they take it in
What's that noise? What's that noise you're doing now? You start doing that noise all of a sudden.
Big. I don't know. Honestly, I think
I like it.
You like it? I think Gunner's affected me because during the introduction of these 2 teams, when Astralis are huddled up doing their whatever they were doing, Gunner had that annoying thing again. He plays it like an instrument every single time.
In the elevators.
Oh, you asked him to do it?
I said, hey, you know that noise you make? And he goes, what noise? This noise? And then he does it. And I was like, yeah, that one's perfect. You should do that again on the broadcast.
It's like whenever Soniqs is playing and you look at the opponent, like opposing team, you'll always hear that in the background, just always lingering. You know it's Soniqs time when that sound comes out. It's their war horn, their battle horn. It sounds very silly, but It's the sound that they make before they go into battle. Armor being shown on the board now from Rexen. And honestly, Rexen's done quite well for himself, finally put up some good numbers, but Grixer, 1-3 so far, hasn't really awoken an attack inside yet, but it's still early on. But if you're on the Iana with grenades, with the Gemini clone, you tend to be expected to find value very often because you have so much value to give and to share with your teammates. Nades can open up opportunities, the Gemini clone grants information, of course. The guns on Iana as well. All the top gunners prefer that operator because you get G36C or you get that ARX.
Great game from Gio as well.
Absolutely. Fantastic game from him.
Playing, I don't want to say sheltered on defense, but he was certainly not the front line for Soniqs. You know he's good enough to get into the building and get the diffuser down. Soniqs do historically like their plants. Mind you, it was Super the one who was often in charge of doing that. But objective play is a very key part of Soniqs. Even with all the offensive tools at their disposal, they don't just rely on kills to get the round done. Rexen goes in the window. Break room. Oh, he beheads J90. Through the walls looking for more. Now it's Iconic to contest. Citizen adds to his own tally, but Iconic is able to get away. That's exactly the start that Soniqs wanted. A round win here ties these two teams at 4 apiece. It guarantees 11 rounds of Siege. We have needed all 12 rounds of regulation for maps 1 and 2. I suspect that we will likely go deep into Theme Park as well.
Yeah.
Nothing has shown me that it won't be just yet.
Iconic's isolated off the bomb site inside a lab. So decision for Soniqs here. Do you go and hunt him down, build that 5v2, or hit the side and leave the flank open? There's no wrong choice to be made, but you gotta make it fast with 40 seconds left, and Citizen, he's gaining this information, but Spirit finds a kill in the meantime.
Gunners down for the count. The sledge is in, slow and able, opening up walls and floors with that hammer. Nice nade, claims the top of the Selmas, but there's the flank from Iconic. He might actually be able to get all the Selmas and keep some of this bomb site intact. Forrest finds 2 very quick picks, and Iconic on that flank is just as good as ever. 2 in a row for Astralis as they tie up this map.
Yeah, I think Citizen missed the flank of Iconic inside a lap, and that's going to force a tactical timeout from Soniqs. Let's see what they have to say.
I will say, even with Richie getting the map, it was still stalling. Richie was re-droning his break room over and over and over again, and that wasted about 45 seconds. Team open, fucking tanky. You guys are not taking the initiative. You're taking too much time. It's making us execute in the last like 10 to 15 seconds. We're also not holding flanks on the side. It's not flanked again. So,
no one was dead.
Take the initiative and just calm down. There's a bickering happening. Talk about what you're gonna do. What are you guys gonna do next?
They're gonna go bunk probably, Gio.
They're gonna go bunker off. Let's talk about what you want to do.
You wanna go fast or wanna bleed him out? We can run floors and clear the shields.
So the 3 points that God is really trying to pinpoint here. Take initiative. If something's clear, take it instead of rejoining for 40 seconds straight. Watch the flank, like we just saw. Massive pain point for them with Iconic finding that gap. And thirdly is calm down. There's simply too many things happening, too many emotions in the air most likely. And once that starts happening and the comms get cluttered, it creates this panicky environment in the team atmosphere. And that can really change the outcome of these rounds in the clutch moments. It's tied up 4-4. The loser is going to be going home. It's third map. This is do or die for both teams. But you said earlier, Parker, you kind of worried for Soniqs and the mental side of things, where if things start slipping away from them, how's that going to seem? Whereas Astralis, they look rock solid every single time the team comes. Keeping it very quiet, very calm, peaceful, not really seeming too bothered if things aren't going their way. Whereas Soniqs, I mean, one flank goes poorly, all of a sudden they got a huge flank problem. They were correct in guessing Bunk is up next.
This is a game between these two teams that is being played just really well. You know, I can almost hear Fresh saying in the other room, this is pretty much perfect Siege. Is it perfect? No, it's not. There's been mistakes from both teams, but ultimately there's been nothing really egregious that's been committed. You and I get flack for almost being too critical of teams, but there hasn't. I've wanted to almost balance the sheer amount of praise that we've given these squads.
Yeah.
with a little bit of, okay, well, here's the misstep you made. Here's how you can correct it. But we're not seeing a lot of that. Like, yeah, you let a flank go. Okay, but you're at a disadvantage in numbers. Every team that's down numbers, that don't have a zero, don't have a nomad, don't have a gridlock, are going to accomplish that.
Yeah.
You know, every team is going to have weaknesses depending on where they are in the map and what the player count is. I gotta say, I'm impressed with both of these squads so far, and I think both of them have made a very credible argument that they deserve to move on. It's a shame that we have to see one of them go home.
No, I agree, and there can be games that are close because both teams are bad, you know, having a mid-off, as we say.
We've had some mid-offs.
We've had some, and they happen. But this is not a close game because teams are playing poorly time and time again. This is close because both teams are fighting every single step of the way, bringing it from those 5v5s to 2v2s, and those very small decisions being a defining factor.
Look at this. This could be a rush from Soniqs.
But the jammer, it stops him. Monty has secondary MPs, that's Geo, has to rotate on over.
There
Monty, a great operator to pick up the bomb side. It might be just what Soniqs needs.
Small opening created. Early bit of damage done to J90, and when I say early, I mean in terms of the execute, because we've seen a minute go by. Only one ADS still remaining. J90, a proud parent of those ADSs, still sitting with his children.
That's a first.
Geo taking way too much damage as a Monty should, and there goes a toxic canister that could have claimed his life. J90 in this position, eliminating Gunner. Gunner on the entry, not good this round, not good enough. You still got backup on Soniqs, but you don't have control at Cafe for SQ. You've only got a couple people in the building, and your Monty is very close to death.
Yeah.
Looks like J90 has been finished off by Cafe again. It's the Monty getting in on the action. Toxic canister goes out. Geo will survive a single tick of that. A second tick should drop him. Spiff does so much damage with the DMR, and now he has to outduel Geo, but Forrest gets it instead. Astralis are mighty fine, and they say, we don't give a damn if you take a timeout.
Calm down. Calm down here, all right?
Huge round for them. Come on, Iconic.
Iconic has ice in his veins. Come on, you know, back to the Charlotte Major. Things are going crazy, and Iconic is sitting there as if it's just another day at the office. Just ice in his veins, stone-faced. There's a job to be done.
Yeah, and I respect him for it, and honestly, Iconic wants to play in front of a crowd. Obviously, every single player does. That's the end goal, like on main stage. But Iconic, he wants a crowd. He wants to make the play in front of that crowd and have them scream his name like they did back in Charlotte when he was finding play after play and opening after opening for Astralis. And when you're in lower bracket, it's a long way. So eyes on the prize, full focus on the mission ahead. These are long days for these teams. If you win, you got another best of 3. It's not just one done and dusted. And again, the loser is going to be sent home. I want to keep reiterating that statement because that's the stake they're playing at. And now we're going to see that fooling around again. Soniqs, the glass, the blitz, the finger. The thing is, this is a lap bomb site. It is very difficult to rush as there's one window into the bomb site itself and a second window in through bathroom, which has that self-destructible floor above it, which is being held last time by Spiff. This time, well, it's also by Spiff. So Soniqs, they can try to tempt it. Frost mats, of course, on the table as well. Windows are dangerous.
I'm deploying a drone.
So far, it's phase 1. Set up. Gain that information. Try and figure out what the bomb set looks like. How many people are here? Geo on the blitz will lead the charge if an execute were to break out.
They like these
going for it.
And they're just running right in. Adrenal surge to go. J90 stopped them last time, but he's dead now. Smokes get eaten by the ADSs. Geo missing that opportunity. First kill had gone to Citizen on the glass. Gunner now one as well. Astralis cannot stop this advance from Soniqs. SQ are just hitting all their shots. Forrest will contend against the diffuser down. He sees the blitz, and here comes the pain. Flawlessly done by Soniqs. Just like maps 1 and 2, Nick, we're going all the way.
And again, really good siege being played. They don't rush it, Soniqs. They take their 30 seconds, they pay the respect and say, let's just see how doable this is. Okay, it's really doable. Now we go, boom, straight on in. Spiff isn't there to punish. Citizen gets the opening kill on glass, perfect coverage. Geo delivers the fuses, gets down the smoke grenade, he starts planting, and nobody even gets close to shutting it down. That's the rush, that's the one-off done and dust. That's never gonna happen again. It's never gonna work again, most likely, in this matchup. And this, the thrown bomb side, that is going to be the very, not final test for Soniqs, because there are more rounds to be played, but it is certainly the most important one. That is the make or break. If you go back like 3 rounds in the past, I was saying how Astralis, they won 2 out of 3 thrown attacks. That could be the difference maker in terms of round score on the attacking side. If Soniqs, they can't break this apart, well, again, Astralis go to match point, then Soniqs, they attack secondary or tertiary bomb site, and they will very likely see overtime as a best case scenario. However, if Soniqs can break this throne, they have a very good shot at actually taking it in regulation. There's no Munty, there's none of those funny operators of glass or blitz. It's a stable lineup. Grux are being given the nuke, can sneak around the map. They do have 6 grenades. So Soniqs perhaps trying to force some early picks with utility instead of gunfights, as they deem it too risky on that roam clear.
So you call them pocket strats, right? Keep them in your
pocket
back
strats.
pocket.
Yeah, whipping out sometimes.
Just when you need it the most. Astralis have some good tools to deal with whatever comes. A Warden, a Valkyrie, and a Solus means that you're going to have no shortage of intel. You've also got 3 Nitro cells.
Yeah.
So should a shield emerge, that explosive end to the shield operator is capable in 3 separate operator sets of hands. Capcan traps also to slow them down. A lot of this Astralis lineup is actually designed around stopping yet another rush or an aggressive shield take on the bomb site. Now, as you pointed out, it's not what Soniqs want.
No. And it seems like Astralis in general, they like adapting to what the enemy is doing time and time again, round after round.
Oh!
Nicely done.
Pops out at the time you were least expecting it, just like a jack-in-the-box. Goodbye, J90. Solus, a very valuable intel operator, not on the board any longer. He's on cam duty.
Yeah, there are 2 roamers still, though. 1 bathroom, 1 lab. They can play together, but the issue is the floor above them is destroyable, and Sledge is there to break it apart. They gotta fight for their lives.
Tiny bit of damage done to both to Forest and to Spiff. That's a Nitro cell from Iconic. Can they hear that sound?
Maybe.
Oh, he misses it onto the knock and loses the duel! Iconic had a golden opportunity, but he doesn't pull it off. Spiff now inside of storage. He's in a rough place. They're going to drone him. They know he's in there, and they've got 2 players from Soniqs that can easily pinch him. But Spiff can pull this off. You know he's a talented player, but not with Citizen in tow. He's having that bounce-back game that we talked about, Nick. And now down goes Forest. Soniqs just need Shuttle. That's it. 2 and 7. This is more like Shuttle on border, but ooh, down goes Geo. He's one of the best players and another. If they're going to keep Shuttle 1v1, he can easily win this. Citizen's been down by the EDD. Rexham will have to clutch. Can he get there in time? Does he have information? Nade goes off. Shuttle doesn't seem to know where he is, and Citizen will get back up. Shuttle the Nitro cell, finishing off what he started. Citizen with Diffuser in hand. Shuttle will need to end this. Citizen has to take the engagement because he's almost out of time, and Shuttle plays it perfectly. Astralis on series point.
Parker, you questioned this man so many times in map number 1 and map number 2, but it's in map number 3 he says, see what I can do. The throne defense almost lost, but it's salvaged in the saving seconds of the round. Shuttle and the Capcan trap, of course, we gotta give some credit there. Get the job done. Timeout from Astralis to get this final round for them on match point.
I mean, we could do the fucking blender, bro. If someone's about to charge the door, I can start down side, play for the walkout.
I mean, yeah, go for it. Let's press them a little bit. Listen, if it goes in OT, keep doing what we're doing. Dave, just realize right now they're starting to realize what we're doing. These fast off layers. So
Yeah, so we can hold.
Let's close them right here. Let's close
so like hard, so like say like a hard zone's an OT.
Yes. If it does go, let's close it out right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say hard OT. Like we should also take the zone with an auto because like, bro, I think we literally could have played top dragon and maintenance at the time. I think we peel like if we peel back, it's gotta be with an auto.
Yeah, let's go on fast. Let's peek sneaking, bro.
So like, where did that speak?
During that round, I was making a checklist to try and see how many of Goddess's points Soniqs would cover on their second attempt at this bomb side. I had flank being watched, check, successful. The full roam clear, check, successful. They cleared out lab and they cleared out bathroom. And I was gonna put wind thrown, check. I was just about to put it down, and then the shuttle show began. Demoralizing round for Soniqs to lose, and their mental has to be questioned now on this possible final round.
Wow. Not only do you have Shuttle with ice in his veins, he himself has been around for ages, playing with that old Elevate squad. But now he leads a younger team, potentially to victory. What an upset it would be for Soniqs if they were eliminated here in the lower bracket. We're at the point now where it's going to be an upset most of the time, no matter who goes home. These teams are all so good, and the lower bracket run is absolutely jam-packed.
Yeah, it is.
But when you look at the roster on paper and the success that Soniqs have had up to this point, so many people had them making it not just out of the lower bracket, but making it to be one of the final teams to compete at the stage on Friday.
Yeah.
Some of them, like you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my damn predictions, man. I had to make the grand finals against BDS.
Well, BDS has their hands full against Liquid on the other stream right now.
Oh, man.
So it's entirely possible that both BDS and Soniqs get eliminated at the same time.
That's ridiculous to think about. The fact that it's even possible.
Welcome to the Six Invitational, Nick. You've won it twice. You should know this.
I know, but still, this is ridiculous. And this match right now, going the distance, all 3 maps.
All 12 rounds. No overtime required, but we've gone through every single round of regulation. Soniqs hinging their stakes here on the Monty. They lose Rexon. He had a rough go of it so far today. He's still not playing up to his ability, but now you've lost Geo as well. Astralis looking for a date with Lost One later today. Neither of these teams wanting to go home, but the reality might be setting in for Soniqs. Their only way out of this round is a victory, or I suppose a loss, and then they're out of the entire event.
This is tough because Geo and the Monty have the secondary EMPs. That means these walls are mute jammed. They can't get through them. Softful, the guys who make a play off it, walks on through. But as far as they peel back, they don't give them any free kills playing close together. It's Gunnar, Grixer, and Citizen who has to find the magic in a 3 versus 5 round for everything.
A 5v3 is the most precarious lead in Rainbow Six. Both these teams have flawlessed each other. Problem for Soniqs. Do you stall out? Only 40 seconds to go. Goodbye, Gunnar. Iconic, a beautiful shot. He's still in a powerful position playing by that B-bomb chassis. Grixer and Citizen are known for winning games single-handedly. They need to start getting picks. Forest down. J9O removed as well. Grixer a flash, but it's all up to Grixer and he can't get it done. Soniqs go home. Astralis move on.
The teamwork makes the dream work, and Astralis, one of the most formidable teams at that particular element of Rainbow Six Siege. And Spiff, what a great addition and great debut for Astralis.
That second half, boy oh boy, 5-1 the second half for Astralis. It seems like they knew a thing or two about Theme Park. The people showed up on Astralis when they needed to.
Yeah.
We rightly called out Shuttle for his poor performance, but boy oh boy, he single-handedly wins a round that catapults Astralis into a series point situation. This looks more like the Astralis that we saw make a daring run to the finals in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Spiff has settled into this team, and if they can just fine-tune a couple things, then I honestly believe Astralis can make a very deep run. But first, they'll be in action later today. They got to get through Lost One, who were knocked into the lower bracket by Wolves yesterday.
That's crazy to think of because this year was so close. Imagine how much energy and time that takes from Astralis' members, right? I know what it's like to play a long series, but 2 in a row fighting for your chance at staying in the tournament, absurd. And I gotta do it one more time in just a few hours.
And this was not a fast match at all. It's not like it was a 7-1 and then a 7-1 and then a 7-1. It's like, okay, you know, we didn't really end up playing that much Rainbow Six Siege. This was 12 rounds, 12 rounds. 12 rounds. And outside of the potential 9 rounds of overtime over those 3 maps, there really isn't much more Siege that could have been played here. So it was a grueling battle. But Astralis, objectively, the better team today. Soniqs had no wiggle room. They go home.
I still can't believe it. Again, my predictions in the gutter. I was trying to make it far, but I had Soniqs make it further.
I mean, welcome to the Six Invitational. The World Championships, where anything can happen, in this match right now should show you just that. There are more upsets that are going to happen, though I don't know if I'd call this one an upset, but there certainly will be upset fans after that result. Astralis moves on, Soniqs go home. 2 more matches on this stream alone. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Welcome back, friends, to the Command Center. We're live in our studio in Montreal. It's all beautiful here, and even more after a North American bout between Astralis and Soniqs. Soniqs have been eliminated from the tournament, so our winners are Astralis, and we're joined by Spiff, newcomer to the team here on the desk. Spiff, congratulations on the win. How are you feeling?
Well, thank you. I'm feeling really good. You know, that last map was, I think everything was like a 7-5 too.
It was close, all of it. Yeah, it was indeed 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. And you know, through a tough game like that, there's always players that really stand out against the rest. And guess who our MVP is for the series? Come on, bring it up. Wow, it's Spiff! That's crazy. Can you believe it? Now, I know you're coming into this matchup and into the tournament with a lot of learning, basically, to do at this level. Who do you feel that on the squad really helps you become the better player, the MVP of the game?
I mean, all my teammates, and Call Out, Mango, Wafer, you know, Shut, Forest, Iconic, J9O, like, they all help me a lot. Like, they know, like, I'm basically like a sponge, just like learning everything they tell me, you know?
Like, you have a specific player that you turn to when you feel that you need some advice or some help?
Probably either Call Out or Iconic, because, you know, Iconic's been playing the entry, and now I'm a newcomer into the entry role, so if I have any, like, problems, I just ask him on, like, how to do my job better.
Fair enough, my friends. And Shaq, do you have any questions for...
Yeah, for sure. You lose the first map, which is your map pick. How do you mentally come back after losing your own map pick?
We weren't really demoralized. Like, we just go one round at a time, you know? We lost border, all good. We have 2 more maps to bounce back and win that 2-1.
Sounds good.
I would describe your playstyle as a little bit chaotic at times. I think it would be fair to say. There's a lot of chaos going on. Yeah. Is that predetermined, or is it just people on your team just spot something and you all just go with the plan?
Well, I mean, we are kind of chaotic, but, you know, we kind of flow through the chaos, you know? Like, we kind of...
Do you try and drag other teams into your game?
Yeah.
Rather than playing theirs?
Yeah. We like keeping it hectic.
Yeah.
You know, keep them on their toes.
I mean, you were saying that, you know, Soniqs looked really scary in the groups of how good they were in the way that they played. But what kind of flipped that switch to say, actually, they are immortal. Like, we can take them down?
Well, before I was on the team, you know, Astralis was 3-0 against Soniqs. You know, they beat him every game in the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. You know, I decided, you know, we got to make it 4-0 and send them home today.
I mean, you did indeed send them home, especially after that loss against Dark Zero yesterday. They picked DZ to play against specifically, so hey, that's something that you can play into it. Spiff, anything you'd like to say to all the Astralis fans out there before we wrap it up?
Thank you, everyone. You know, your support really helps us, and, you know, we hope to be +1 later too, you know.
That's a big game for later. Lost one versus Astralis around 3 hours from now.
Yeah.
Or such. Yeah, 3 hours exactly from now. So long day ahead. We won't keep you too long. I know you need to rest before you get to it. Thank you again, Spiff, for joining us on the desk. It was a pleasure to have you on. Now, let's move on to our analysis part of our post-game. Thank you so much, Spiff. There it is. 7-5 on map 1 for Border. And Soniqs took, like you said, Astralis's map pick.
Yes, we were really looking forward to seeing Astralis on the attacks. We hyped them up coming into this game, but how good their attacks were. And I sat back listening to the comms, and they were, as you mentioned, indeed, very chaotic, very fast-paced. It was a lot of things happening. Players really shouting at each other. They've lost maybe some initial ideas, but still managed to take up a few rounds, despite ending Border 3-3 in attack.
Yeah, I think it was I don't think Astralis was too ready for Soniqs on that map. Soniqs had a good handle on how they were going to play, good counter preparation. And I think the one thing for Astralis that particularly haunted them on map 1 was the entry kills. They lost basically 10 out of 12 entry kills, which, especially on Border, with it being such a gunfight-heavy map, I know the casters talked about it, it was always going to be very hard to recover the rounds. The fact they got it to a 7-5, despite the entries again being poor, is actually a testament to how they can play in that late round.
Well, what if we dug even more into details of strategies? And do you think there's something we can pull out of it?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to show something on the telestrator.
Illustration.
I'll just walk over this way.
Go ahead. Look at her. Go ahead. All yours.
Immediately, because there's a lot of action happening. We talked about how chaotic this game can be sometimes, but we're looking at a Soniqs execute right here. A few things you need to know before we get started with this execute. There is a glass watching all the way from the AC window, and all the smoke canisters have already been used prior to this execute coming out from Soniqs. Now, what we'll see happening is we'll see Gunnar walk in, he will just run inside, and he will pick up 2 very important kills, eliminating the 2 players that were playing in Archives. And when that happens, you are setting yourself up for an execute. Right, the few things we have looking for us is we have the Zero watching the top of East, we have the Glass outside the AC window watching the Armory door, and we do have a player in Archives watching the office rotate. And we have Citizen underneath, which is also going to be super important. There is a Solus on the board on the side of Astralis. They can stop that plant if they're underneath, seeing where the diffuser is going down. So Citizen being down there, stopping any C4, stopping any Solus is also super important. By this time, you have everything set up, the plant can go down, and that is exactly what is happening. We'll see that the player in Archives and Citizen underneath will fall, but the plant goes down. All you have to do is wait. You have the cover on this window, you have the Monty standing extended, and this is what I love. We've all been in this situation in ranked, right? This plant is down, they have control outside AC window, they have control outside East. What does Forest? He just goes outside. He goes outside, watches that Glass outside of the AC window, and basically makes sure that the Glass cannot easily peek from the left and right side. See, he's getting shot whilst he moves just a little bit, and then eventually we'll get the down on him there. The player on top East needs to then move in, needs to make sure that they're not getting that counter defuse going on. He will swing accurately. Doc is still outside, by the way. So Grixer moves up and tries to shoot the person outside, goes for the frag on the person that's going for the counter defuse. Eventually, no more time for Astralis, but I've loved that they just had someone sitting outside, and this execute was also perfectly set up by Soniqs.
Thank you very much. And on the Talustration station, that was map 1 in this series. You saw Border, but the series continued to be contested quite closely. It was a 7-5, 7-5, 7-5 on Oregon. Jack, please help us out. What happened here?
I think the best thing about Oregon for Astralis was the fact that they got through on the defense on a 3-3 split. Now, it's not often that we would actually be saying that, oh, it's really good that they got a 3-3 split. But we highlighted in the pre-show that they were struggling on defense and were unreal on attack, and that's exactly what we saw in Oregon on their opponent's pick. 3-3.5 going into the attacks, and then they managed to win 4 out of the 6. And I think you can see there, J90 has had an excellent tournament. Spiff's had a great game there as well. Iconics turned up. The whole team has basically turned up there, and that's not something that we've been able to say about Astralis.
Yeah, they were much better on the entries as well going into the second map. You mentioned how they lost a lot of their entry engagements. First map, second map was a lot better. Again, we saw a lot of explosive plays coming out from Astralis, being really aggressive, but that did help them a lot on their attacks.
And you thought it ended there? No, it did not. It went to map 3 in the series. Of course, Theme Park got even more hectic on that third map. Like we heard from Spiff on the interview. Thank you, Spiff, for joining us on here. It seemed like Astralis just liked the controlled chaos. You were describing it also before we entered our matchup. Forest at the top and a full victory for Astralis.
I mean, you're looking at a 7-5 that realistically at 5-5, a 1v4 happened. That 1v4 doesn't happen, and Shuttle has taken a lot of heat this tournament. You know, we came into this talking about him being the lowest rated player, and sure, he went 6 and 7. He got 1v4. That on 5-5, put them on match point and set them up. And I genuinely think like those are the big plays that you want. If you've not got a player that's playing well in the tournament, if he pops up and just gets that one big play in one round that gets you over the line, Astralis will be taking that all day long.
I mean, it's impact kills, right, coming out from Shuttle in that point, and especially it being so late in that game and so close to match point, it must have been very hurtful for the mental on Soniqs. And we talked about how this was a thing in the M&M game, how their comms seemed a lot more sad, and there was not really as much coming when there was such huge things happening against them. So yes, really good attacks by Astralis. Once again, we saw that huge play coming out there too. We do have to also mention Gio had a great game, but Gio was also the last person standing from the last SI finals.
True.
So now that he is gone, we will not have anyone here to defend their SI title from last year anymore.
Go back to back.
Yep.
It is all done. We are confirmed to have a completely new champion, but then again, you know, I mean, Space Station are still in competition. They've earned it in the past, but there's so few people that have actually done it. Kanto Raketti is also still in here. We know Koi are prepared for it. So, hey, there's a lot of details for it to iron out and a lot of speculation. And we're going to try to kind of push a bit of it to the side because our last matchup for this first half of the day is done. Our fourth game, BDS defeating Team Liquid. We'll be back to break that down in just a moment.